Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Racers Driving League for Season 19, Round 24, the final race of this wonderful campaign on F1 25. And we are here for the reverse grid finale as always, but this time the first ever reverse grid finale and the first ever RDL race as a whole to be held on a reverse circuit. I'm your host, Zach RC. Alongside me for the final time is Ben. Ben, welcome in. And we've got the prospect of what could be a very, very entertaining 52 laps around Silverstone. The first time the RDL is traversing a circuit in the wrong direction. It should be a blast.
With all the faster drivers starting at the back, would have been a reverse grid as well. Hopefully, with a cracker.
It should be an absolutely fantastic race. Of course, Grumio won this race last season. Dan won the actual finale last time around in Brazil. Of course, several races on in terms of the championship fights. Of course, the constructors' race is almost wrapped up, but is more or less over at this stage. I'd say we're sort of just waiting to bring Haas home. They're 34 points in front of Williams going into this event. Mercedes lead Red Bull by just 8 points going into this last round, so Imrie would need to win the race and have 10th score a couple of points, and have Pope and Cottony failed to score. The fight between Sauber and Alpine is still sort of raging on a little bit there, but I mean, looking like it's swinging in Alpine's favour, and of course we're still waiting on the end of that fight between Ferrari and RB at the bottom of the table in terms of the 10 points separating those two teams. So we'll do our best to keep you entertained and keep you up to date with all the points as best we can. Me and Ben using sort of our mental calculators in our minds as we go on and just sort of try and figure things out before the end of the Grand Prix. And hopefully all of these loose ends will be tied up quite nicely. So we're seconds away now from the formation lap. And of course, it's going to be absolutely chaos going into what is normally the last corner in this case, Ben, but it's going to be the first one this time round. Of course, that very tight first left-hander. It should be, it could be carnage. So I just have to wait and see what goes on there.
Yeah, it's turn 1 and 2 are going to be out of mayhem, along with turn 3 as well, with it being such a tight right hand. I expect at least a few cars to have a bit of an incident maybe, but we'll see what happens.
It should be entertaining for us too, I should think. And perhaps not so entertaining for those guys out on the circuit, but we'll see how they handle things, and we'll see how many cars we end up with at the end of the Grand Prix. But yeah, like I say, it should be absolute chaos. And obviously, a lot of these guys are getting used to driving this track for the first time in terms of an actual race scenario. Definitely online, I'd say, in terms of running these races against each other. I mean, practice went underway. A lot of drivers have been struggling with tyre temperatures in particular. See this circuit run in a very different manner, and I do respect what they've done in terms of having a reverse circuit on the F1 25 game this year. Whether we'll see the other two in Austria or Zandvoort emerging on the calendar next season, I doubt it, but we'll see where about to end up on that front now. So we're just waiting now for the formation lap to come to a close and for us to get underway for what should be a very exciting British Grand Prix. And it's been a while since it's been to Silverstone, so it should be an absolute blast all the same. The weather looks to be treating us quite nicely as well, which is always positive. I mean, me and you, Ben, we've seen in the past how British weather can intervene with races like these. But the formation lap is getting underway, and we'll have a look now at your starting grid. We'll go from last to first. So we'll go from first to last in this case. Obviously, qualifying order determined based off qualifying average over the course of the season. So Cottony Goblin lines up on pole for Mercedes. Hasn't scored a point all season long, might try and change that today. EJ in second place, 10th Cannon in third for Red Bull. JB in fourth. That's PJ rounds at your top 5. Alvaro alongside him in the Red Bull in 6th place. Of course, sorry, in the RB in 6th place. Those guys, of course, fighting to try and outscore Ferrari by at least 10 points. Ericsson lines up in P7, Ethan in P8, Curtis in P9, and DJ Round at your top 10. So behind him into the second half of the grid, it takes me Cook in P11. Should be an exciting race for him to cap off this season. Of course, won a race a couple weeks ago in Vegas. Websy in P12, of course, coming to this race back in season 15 with a chance to title. Obviously fell short, but nothing for him to fight for today except for 9th in the championship. 80 lines up in P13, of course, final race alongside Landlord. Pope in P14, try and get a second race win to hold off Red Bull in these closing moments of the season. Landlord starting what we assume will be his last race in the RDL, at least for the foreseeable future. His second retirement from this league, at least in my memory. So we're excited to see him go, but hopefully we enjoy this one last race. Che, same thing. Well, actually, what do we say? Sorry, no, I'm getting my facts wrong. No, Che is coming back to the grid next season, so that'll be all okay. Dan, P17, of course, runner-up in the championship, locked at this point. Imrie in P18. Grumio, the champion, in P19, of course, most poles this season. And TJ as a reserve. The last race from him as a reserve before he comes full-time next season. He lines up at the back of the grid. Ben, of course, you've got experience in terms of doing well in these races. You managed to nab a fantastic result here in Portugal a couple of seasons ago in this same scenario. How do you approach this sort of race when if you're starting from the front of the grid?
It's such a different one to approach with you obviously having the bit of a pace advantage over those who are in front of you. You've got to approach things differently. You got to make sure you keep your consistency, keep your focus, because that's really how I lost out in Portugal, to be fair, on the race win. If I kept my focus, God knows what could happen. But looks like we're lining up now, so hopefully it shouldn't take too long.
You finished third in that race, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
Yeah, I could have been on for the race win.
RDL podium sitter Ben, though, that's something that won't be forgotten in a hurry as the last few cars come through to take their spots at the back of the grid. Grumio and TJ on that back row. A few drivers missing out on their grid spots, but we are about to get underway now for what should be a very exciting, at least a very exciting race at the first corner. But here come the lights now, just waiting on the lights for the final race of the Races Driving League Season 19. Connie and EJ on your front row. The lights are out and we are racing. 52 laps about to get underway as they charge down towards that first corner. Good start from EJ on the inside. They're going to try and contend with Cottony. Going into turn 1, 10th cannon runs wide. Everyone keeps it nice and controlled. 3 wide into the first couple of corners here. Everyone keeps it nice and clean here. No damage made, no contact. Slight bit of contact in the back there, but everyone seems to have got away all okay as EJ takes the lead going into Stowe. Into the left-hander they go and down to what will be a DRS straight on the way towards Chapel, then Beckett and Maggots. That'll be someone to keep an eye on over the course of the Grand Prix. The 2 Alpines and 2 Saubers fight each other on the way down towards Chapel. Sorry, no, that is a Ferrari. That is Curtis going for it on the outside if he can into Beckett. It's going to be very tight between a number of these drivers. You see Che trying to move up. He's up 4 places on this race start. Pope's up 3, so a number of cars making progress already. But it's EJ who leads away from Cottony in second and JB in third.
It's just just looking further back. Ethan's had a really poor start. I wonder if Ethan, someone has gone mild off track. I think it's Dan. Dan's well off the track. Has he got damage? I don't think so.
He's all okay, yes.
Look, yeah, Ethan's struggling in these first part of the year. He's lost 6 positions on this lap alone, so fingers crossed he won't fall too far back.
Tough start for the Aston Martin driver then on a day, of course, where Aston haven't got too much to fight for in the way the constructors. They're more or less locked for 8th place, but Ethan himself is still only 15 points back from Webster, so good score today. Could still see him.
Curtis is off.
Oh, Curtis. Ferrari has gone off the circuit. He's rejoined us, all okay. He's got no damage too, but I think we're going to see a fair few offs in this Grand Prix. I think, Ben, if we're going to be truthful, it's over towards turn 1 to begin lap 2. It just looks so odd to see these guys going the wrong way towards the first corner. It feels so natural and yet so odd at the same time, but I'm sure we'll get used to it. We've got 50 laps to get used to it as the race goes on. You saw a number of cars going wide there, going through cops in the first lap course. That's just there's no sort of runoff area there. It's just a long patch of grass that you've got to really try and contend with when you're making your way through what is normally a right-hander that can be taken flat out, but not in this case today. As you see, Cottony closing on JB. JB to the second spot here, so Cottony struggling a bit down 2 places. Almost 3 wide. They're going into Beckett's there, or 3 Beckett's rather, and Pope is still making moves here. He's up 6 spots. Grumio is up 7, so he's making fantastic progress himself as well as he contends with Alba and Che. They're almost 3 wide for a second going into Stowe, but all 3 of them have got through okay. Che goes wide off the circuit. Oh, contact, and everyone's managed to keep it under control. 80's got damage.
Someone's got damage.
That'll be 80. Oh, Salva sliding. As I think that was Ericsson going for a slide. I think. Oh, car on the gravel as well. Off. That's Imri off the gravel, off into the barriers, and he's lost that could be the entirety of his front wing there. I'm not entirely sure. Yellow flags are obviously out as he tries to get himself going again. But tough break for Imri. Obviously, he's got a lot of race to come back in. But we'll have to see how much damage he's got. That's not surprisingly not the full front wing wiped off there. He's still got only lost an end plate in that and possibly damage to the front of the wing. You have to pit to change that without a doubt. I dare say we may see 18 as well because he got a bit of a punt earlier on. Pit entry's going to be a bit weird there at Silverstone, especially given how fast the end of the lap is now compared to what is now the start. So we begin lap 3 of this race, and HB Cook being passed there by Grumio is making fantastic progress in the early parts of this race. But yeah, that been tough break for Imri there, going off into the barriers so early on.
100%. I didn't really catch what happened. It looked like it all were a bit of a mess from the lights of 18 downwards. As 80 downwards, 80 does still have that damage. I imagine he's going to try and go to at least his first pit stop with the damage to maybe then get it repaired. But we've got battles all over the place at the moment.
everything very, very exciting in these first couple of laps. I think Chase got wing damage as well. He may have also got a piece of that collision. So they went 3 wide, him, Alvar, and AT, and it didn't really work out for, it appears, 2 of the drivers. Yep, Chase also lost an end plate. Whether that was from the that same bit of contact, not too sure. But you see a number of cars there going off wide into the grass. So Ben, watch them when they come around next time. I guarantee you there'll be at least 3 or 4 cars you see hit the grass as TJ and Curtis go fighting for his P18 on the circuit as they make their way through Luffield. It's all very, very tight here as they come through to complete the 3rd lap. EJ is still showing the way. Grumio up 13 places here in these first almost 3 laps. He is commanding things despite not leading yet. But I feel like it's more a matter of sooner rather than later.
Yeah, well, we all know Grumio's a 10-time world champion, so for the neutral perspective, it's been a pretty good first 4 or so laps. However, Grumio's made up 13 places, and as I say that, it sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, so Grumio's cooking here.
1:30.8 with a sort of benchmark we're looking to hit over the course of the Grand Prix tonight, and it's still Grumio in ominous form, but EJ's the one in control here. He's built a 2-second lead over JB. Courtney Goblin still got DRS, so perhaps a bit of pressure might get put on the Williams car there, but I'm more focusing on further back as HB Cook looks quite close here to DJ as they make their way into the right-hander of Chapel. Not going to do it quite yet. Can keep himself in range for an attack. He can sort of set himself up a lot better. As you see, HB running the special livery there on the Sabres to make their way down towards Cops. Of course, those liveries part of the survival challenges. So I've ventured into as much myself. But so keep an eye out here, Ben. We'll see a number of cars who likely hit the grass at least a little bit as they come through Cops. And I'm just going to keep an eye out for over the course of the Grand Prix. So Curtis run wide there. Imri has got himself going again. He's on lap 4 now. He's on a set of hard tyres. So my guess is he's going to try and go as long as he can on those and hope to try and get a lucky break later on the Grand Prix. But as I say, long race, long way to go. Grumio is closing here, of course. No DRS down the Wellington Straight of where there normally would be, but that DRS zone now comes out of Cops. So I have to keep an eye out for any moves being made in that particular part of the racetrack as he taps the back of PJ Khaled, Aston Martin as they come through Abbey now. Well, sorry, we're going to go through Village, sorry. But Abbey is now the last corner, which EJ is now traversing to begin at lap number 5 of this race. He's on those soft tyres, Ben. Let's not forget that. So obviously, a lot more pace in those compared to the medium tyres that the majority of the field are using.
Yeah, 100%. Grumio is up 15 places now in 5 laps. Wow. He's a man on a mission. He's risky contact, and I think Dan may have just been harsh spun around. Yes, he has.
We got a spinner?
Yeah, Dan ended up harsh spinning around.
He's saved us, so it looks like he's all good. But obviously, he's on those soft tyres as well, so let's keep an eye out to see if how hot those things are running at this stage. Of course, as you say, as we've been saying, tyre temps very, very critical and could play a deciding role in terms of strategy in this Grand Prix. Grumio now finds himself in the 3rd spot, having passed Courtney Goblin. It's just his teammate JB to come, and then a chase against the leader EJ, who is now only 1.3 in front. So JB starts to close the gap a little bit, and we'll see if we can perhaps get a 3-car scrap for the race lead here. But Grumio making a mockery of this reverse grid system. I think honestly, we'd be better off next season putting him at a 20-second deficit. We'll see what happens from there. I think that would be as interesting, if not more.
Oh. Dan's half gone for a move, and he's pretty much had the identical incident.
And a gaggle of cars here, all stuck up behind them. I also saw HB Cookland going wide as well. So both cars keeping it under control. But a lot of train here as Curtis makes a move. Ethan here is falling back. He's lost 2 places. One of them being to Landlord. Landlord's also got end plate damage of his own here. As you also see TJ trying to sneak up the inside of Ericsson as well. These guys are really going for it in these first few laps. Of course, last race of the season, last chance to really make an impression on these guys. And we'll see in terms of next season who leaves the biggest statement going into the next campaign. It's Dan into the pits. So that's 2 front runners, Ben, 2 of our usual front runners who find themselves in the pits within the first 6 or 7 laps of this Grand Prix.
Yeah, I don't really know what's happening, to be fair, with the front runners. Obviously, Imri's had his moment at Luffield, and then obviously Dan's now pit. The one thing that we are starting to see now is the gap open up between the likes of Grumio and Landlord. I mean, if I'm maths are correct, it's probably upwards of about 10 seconds already at this point.
So the gap between Grumio and Landlord, you're looking at about 10, 11 seconds between the pair of them. Of course, the Landlord quite down the order. A lot of work to be done on that front. And obviously, like I say, he's got that little bit of damage to contend with on the left part, on his left end plate. Dan will re-emerge. He's going to emerge a fair way in front of Imri as he makes his way towards Stowe. Grumio now passing JB into Luffield, so things are starting to get a bit more interesting now in terms of the race for the lead. We've got 3 cars within about a second and a half of each other as they come through the right-hander and onto the Wellington Straight once again. Bit wide there for Courtney Goblin, of course. Courtney, the lone driver yet to score a point this season. Whether today will be his day, we're hoping so, as he makes his way up towards the right-hander, down in towards the braking zone of the loop, which is the turn 4 in this case. PJ making his move, makes the pass on Courtney, moved the Mercedes driver down to the 5th spot. Both Mercs in the points right now. Things looking very good for Mercedes at the minute. Obviously, they went into today with an 8-point lead over Red Bull. 10th Cannon is there in the points paying place, but she sits in 7th, so behind one of the Mercs. She's in a Merc sandwich right now. Courtney's in front, Pope's right behind. I dare say this could be a move going towards turn 1 if she plays her cards right, potentially. Courtney goes wide.
Courtney wide.
10th won't see the windows make a move just yet, but I think that's what I saw something go flying in the background. I'm not quite sure what it was. I think everyone's all okay. There's damage on 18, but we already had that. As they make their way into Stowe. 10th now trying the inside, taking a much more narrow line compared to Courtney. He gets a better drive off, but DRS in play for 10th on corner exits. Pope comes in trying to help his teammate, but might just breeze right past instead. Move Pope into the 6th spot and move Pope into the 7th spot. 10th into 6th. Obviously, those 8 points, given that Merc are right behind her, not enough to help Red Bull in their chase for the Constructors' Championship in terms of finishing in that coveted 4th spot here today. As a number of cars going for it here into Cops. It's so tight here. There's just several packs of cars racing each other because you see Courtney going wide. Courtney now falling out the points completely here. So whether I've jinxed him, I hope I haven't, but we'll see if you can recover this later on in the race. But obviously, as I keep saying, long way to go and still plenty to play for in this final race this season. But Grumio now in the lead now. He's taking the lead. He's almost a second in front of EJ already. So Grumio is hauling backside as he continues on his relentless march to cover these first 7 laps. Yellow flag. And who is that for? That is for Courtney. And the lap has sort of slowly fallen apart then for the Mercedes driver as he spins off. Damage on both end plates. That's going to be a pit stop. So bad luck for Courtney then as he gets a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings by running wide there, going towards the loop. That's our first penalty of the evening, surprisingly enough. Given how chaotic these first 7 laps have been, I'm surprised that's the first one. Obviously, Dan and Imri are still back there in P19, P20 as of right now. But Grumio is still showing the way over EJ. And JB is behind him by 3/10.
Yeah, well, mate. Contact!
Both cars!
Crash.
Yellow flags are out. Both cars keep it going, but EJ around. And that'll be what I have to get used to as EJ's chances, of getting back towards the front go up in smoke. Oh, contact there!
That was
EJ
a horrendous rejoin.
Safety car should be getting deployed there, I should think.
Yep.
I can't see it yet, but I'm guessing
no.
so.
What's happened to JB as well? JB's had a moment.
I mean, JB's already had problems on this lap. Obviously, the initial contact with... red flag. Wow. Well, that happened, and that happened very quickly indeed, Ben. Wow. And that's going to bring everyone back together again, which should make for an entertaining second start here. But
hopefully,
contact with Ericsson and EJ there. EJ rejoining, and I think just must have thought that everything was all clear, but not to be. And there we go. That was very very chaotic. We'll say that.
Yeah, I think the problem that EJ had is that it was already losing quite a few positions, so I don't think EJ really had a choice, to be fair. And Ericsson was just unfortunately the wrong place, wrong time, couldn't really do much about it. Red flag now, but we'll see what that does to the grid anyway.
So we'll get a second start here in the next 30 seconds. We'll see when everyone ready's up for the restart. JB is still going, so I'd imagine. I mean, whether he comes back in with a fresh wing, I'm not entirely sure as to whether. I mean, given that it wasn't a safety car, I'm not surprised there was a red flag in that case. But I would have thought it'd be a safety car, which is very, very odd. JB got the red flag before everyone else as the host of the session, so that explains why he was so slow before that happened, in the few seconds before. But we are about to get a restart here. Everyone should be getting up their last few moments here, and we're about to get the lights back on to go again. Grumio leads PJ and JB. We're back to racing again, and we'll see how this second start handles. Ericsson and EJ both out as they make their way towards turn 1. Imri and Dan have been given a lifeline in this Grand Prix now. They're now back with the pack again, and I've got a real reverse grid task to do, as Dan makes up 3 places already, so makes up 2 places rather, in this first part of the lap alone. He's into P15 already. Imri making moves. He's managed to make a pass on Ethan. He's now passing TJ as they go through Stowe. But up front, it is still Grumio who leads. And Pope now in second place. So we could get a good race for the lead here, Ben. As Pope on soft
hopefully, fingers crossed. Yeah, it is going to be Chaos going into Chapel.
Oh,
Oh,
it's
my
so
God.
close.
So tight. Problem is, they carry so much speed through Chapel into Beckett's and then Maggers. It is so tight to get even one car just through there and keep it all within track limits. There's now a... Oh, God, going into cops now as Courtney's defending for his life.
I saw an M plate go flying off. I believe that may be one of the Alpines. I have to double check on Websy. Oh, slide there. Websy's got his intact. AT
More
is
contact.
still going. I think it may have been DJ's ring, perhaps. I thought I saw that one go flying. EJ disconnected because his day is done. No, it appears that I'm blind, so or I must be just missing him there. So I thought I saw an M-plate go flying off as they left cops, but not to be.
Yep.
Dan is making moves here, Ben. He's up into P12 already, so it's a fantastic getaway. But oh, it's Dan's M-plate. Right, there we go. Well, there is a price to pay at all times for success to get to bump there from Alvar in the RB as Imri in the Red Bull goes chasing after him for that top spot. But DRS now in play, and Pope is right on Grumio's tail here. So we've got a good race to lead, and this could be a lead change going down towards Chapel. I'll keep an eye on these two, Ben, as they race towards Stowe.
100% as they head into Stowe, which is now a left hand. It's so weird. It's got to go and picks up another 3 second time penalty. What we could maybe see going down the Hanger Straight is a change for lead, but it looks like he'll remain the same.
So Grimmy keeps it for now, but we'll see whether or not Pope can try and get him with a better run through cops. I have to keep an eye out for this, because these are two fantastic drivers, both of them former champions, or one of them the current champion, one of them the former champion from a long time ago at this stage, as Pope chases Grumio into cops. If he gets good enough exit, I dare say he could try and close enough for the lead here, but not to be as of yet. I doubt he'll make a send into Luffield as they go through Woodcut. Obviously, they're that left-hander going into Luffield. Obviously, might compound things for certain drivers. HP Cook makes a pass on Shea around the outside there. That's a move for the 6th spot. As for the back down, making moves, he's got 10th Cannon and Imri right behind. 10th Cannon still in front of her teammate for the time being. Landlord P14. So still a number of cars who are we're seeing up front down the order. So not everyone's had the same luck as Grumio in terms of making their way up the field. There's been a few of those drivers who perhaps aren't as fast week to week have been giving them real headaches in the first part of this Grand Prix. And there's still so much more to come in this race as Imri challenges 10th.
Oh wow. No love lost between the two Red Bull drivers there.
No love lost whatsoever. Grumio fastest lap, but Pope still right with him on those soft tyres. But the question is, Ben, how long can Pope realistically stay with Grumio on those tyres before they pull off when he needs to pit? As Websy and Che go for it. But yeah, in terms of those tyres, we're looking at Pope as to making a stop soon, I should imagine. I imagine before around sort of lap 20 or so, if I had to make an educated guess. But how long can he keep with Grumio, do you reckon?
Probably for the next few laps. What I'm a bit worried about is the fact that JB looks like hasn't had the chance to replace his tyres with the red flag maybe being a bit of a glitch. He's on an 11 lap old medium. I don't know if it's a video glitch or if it's an actual in-game glitch. But JB's got a bit of a strategy disadvantage here.
Obviously, JB is the host, so whether that has any impact on what his tyres just looks like, I'm not entirely sure. But we'll keep an eye out and we'll see. We'll get a sense as to what he's going for when he does choose to pit, should he choose to pit at some stage. But right now, his main concern is keeping DJ and PJ at bay. HP Cook in the 6th spot, about a second back from those guys. Websy, then Che, AT, then Curtis. That's your top 10. See Dan challenging, and Curtis challenging AT rather up the inside as they go through towards they go up towards the loop once again as they head down their Wellington Straight for the top time in this Grand Prix. Dan practically shoving him on the way through, and there might be a contact in him at Imri. No M-plate loss for either car. I think we're all okay, but it's practically. We're reaching NASCAR territory at this point, Ben. I think it has to be said, as we saw 10th going off in the background there. She recovers the car, but no damage done to that Red Bull, I don't think, unless she's lost an end plate. No, she hasn't. That's all okay. But the chaos continues here. So, Imri going wide there. 4-car race for what is the 9th spot leading that last corner. And it's Curtis there in front as Imri backs out of it to get a better move in on Dan as they go into Club Corner. Well, so no, that's not Club Corner. That is Vale. As for the first time, Ben, one of us gets our corner names confused tonight, so I think there'll be many more of those as the evening goes on, but one of us has done it first, so any worries you have about that can be quelled for now, and we'll continue on chasing between AT, Dan and Imri as Curtis is pulling away now. He's almost a second in front.
Yeah, he is, yeah. What Curtis is doing pretty good job. The main thing for Curtis is the fact that he's got to stay ahead of AT. If he stays ahead of AT, then he's fine compared to the rest of them. However, there is some fast drivers behind, like Dan, like Imre, and like TJ, who may have just had a moment of going through cops.
Him may have been the latest driver to run wide through there, but obviously we've seen in most instances that there has no real impact on the overall race unless he obviously damages your car or damages another driver's car. But Dan trying to switch back here on corner exit. Imre goes wide. That second sector, that last sector has not been kind to him over the course of the evening so far. As Landlord trying on his outside, Imre holds him off as you see Dan locking up, going into the loop and now into Village. AT in front of those guys. Obviously still has that wing damage to contend with. Curtis not quite pulling away as much as I thought he would. And Grumio, though, in terms of pulling away, is about 6 or 7 tenths now in front of Pope. JB's holding up a train here with another 4 cars behind him, including just the 2 Aston Martins and an Alpine. Sorry, no, it's 2 Alpines, a Aston Martin, a Sauber, and now the other Alpine, sorry, as Websy does get involved. So a number of cars going for it. I'm getting my drivers confused here. We'll carry on as we are. As PJ Challenge going towards Chapel now, making a move on JB into the right handle they go and clearing the Williams and pushing JB off the podium. But things are looking quite good, obviously, for Williams as it stands right now. Because, of course, Grumio with the win, plus JB's 12 points for 4th place as it stands right now. Adding on the 4 points that Che is getting right now, finishing in the 8th spot. In terms of... I mean, it's quite close at this point, Ben. Saying things as they are right now. I mean, that's 37 points to the 4. So right now, they're actually, I think, to mine, only one point back in the standings. If we're looking live at the constructors, then Williams may have an outside chance here. If Che loses one more spot, or potentially if JB gains another one, then that could be enough for Williams to take the lead. So we'll have to keep an eye on those maps over the course of the evening. But it's looking good for Williams right now. Perhaps their chances are more alive than we thought going into this one.
Yeah, definitely looking really good for Williams. It looks like the top 2 have broken away massively compared to the rest of the field. And just for a side note, Grumio, he's pulled 1.5 seconds, so maybe he's going to go into a bit of tyre conservation now. But it looks like Pope's tyres may just be starting to fall off and starting to offer less grip.
Yeah, I always wonder how long it takes Pope's tyres to hit the cliff, given how much he's been pushing to chase down Grumio. Only he and Cottony are on the soft tyres right now. Obviously, Cottony at the tail end of the order at the minute after making the after obviously the incident before the red flag. He's the only driver with a penalty in this Grand Prix so far. He's got 6 seconds to his name from those 2 track limit penalties. I think one of them could be taken off, but I mean, I don't know. I have to keep an eye out for that. Obviously, the stewards had the final say on that front later on this week to obviously cap the season off overall in terms of the last stewards report, the last weekly roundup, obviously for us in the Discord. But Pope is still chasing, but at this point he's almost 3 seconds back. So you're right, Ben. He's lost another 1.5 seconds on this lap alone. JB is still there in the 4th spot. He's about 1 second back from PJ. And he probably wants that spot back. He's chased down to 7th position and making moves. This will keep Haas in front by just a number of points here. So it's getting closer and closer. And it should Dan break into the points, which he will do if he gets past AT. Then things looking a bit more bleak for Williams. But you never know. We could see something happen that changes the complexity of the Grand Prix like we have with the red flag. And things could turn their head quite quickly, as we've seen in the past in RDL.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like we've got a bit of a midfield train forming now. Basically, all the way from PJ, all the way down to maybe, I'd say, probably 10th in Alba, maybe including Cottony. Cottony's dropped a bit for that, to be fair. So, all the way down to Alba looks like a bit of a train.
To me, it looks more we've sort of broken into 2 distinct trains from what I've got here. I mean, Curtis is.
Yes,
I'm seeing where you get at, but Curtis is about 2.5 seconds back from Webster the minute. So I don't know. I'm seeing it. I mean, we've got 2 sort of separate trains going on right now, but obviously DRS trains, as we're so accustomed to seeing in league racing at this point, especially on the F1 games of the last couple of years. But Dan might try and challenge AT as to who leads in one of those trains to try and be the second carriage in the steam train is to make the way up towards Beckett's now. He's made a move on the outside there. It'll be the inside for Mag. It's getting very tight, but unbelievably, he's made that work. What a pass from Dan. He was completely behind going into Chapel. He's emerged from Beckett to Beckett in front and leads going into Cops. And now he's had to try and work on closing on Curtis, try and add another point to Haas's tally for the season. As the 2 McLaren teammates go side by side behind him, going into left field. Landlord wins out, so AT losing several places. Imre will see if he can try and follow them through, but tough break for AT in these last couple of corners.
Yeah, AT's not the easiest first 16 laps or so. He's not really been able to recover up the field. To be fair, he's probably pulling down a bit. He wouldn't like to be this far back because he's now under pressure from Emery going through the final couple of corners here, which I still find so weird that we're taking it in reverse.
It'll be something. By the end of the Grand Prix, we'll probably be used to it, and we'll think that normal Silverstone looks a little bit weird. In terms of your position gains in this Grand Prix, Grumio obviously leads those 18 places gained in this race. Pope up 12. The majority of drivers are up places. The only drivers who aren't are Ethan, 10th, Alvar, and Cottonies, who are down 6, 13, 11, and 17 places respectively. And obviously Ericsson, EJ out of the Grand Prix this stage after their incident a couple of laps ago. So we're still reeling from that as things continue on here as they make their way down towards Chapel once again. You see TJ trying to challenge Ethan and making that pass going into Chapel. Things aren't looking too good for RB right now. After a long season of fighting, it looks as likely they're going to finish at the foot of the table here. So EJ's out the Grand Prix, so that's one less drivers to focus on points. So it's even Steve in terms of drivers in the race for both teams, Ben. But obviously, Ferrari come into this one at 10 points clear, and Curtis is scoring 2 more points to Alvar's 0. So as it stands right now, Ferrari will finish in 9th place by 12 points to the Racing Bulls, unless Alvar can find a second win in this Grand Prix. But we're not even halfway through, so we'll see if anything comes a bit later on. But I think we'll be looking sort of lap 40 or so, and we'll be getting the calculators out and figuring out who is going to be finishing where in not just the constructors, but the drivers' championship too.
Yeah, we've got a few Thai drivers battles going ahead at the moment, and it's just looking further down. It's still a bit of a train forming. Obviously, Curtis is like the middleman. Curtis is not really in the train. If Curtis can catch up to like 12, we've got about 13 cars, only one train.
One thing I am looking at here is the fight for 3rd place in the Drivers' Championship, which I think is currently going in Pope's favour as things stand. But he comes into this one 18 points back from Landlord. He's scoring 18 in the minute to Landlord's 0. And obviously, with Pope's win in Jeddah earlier on this season, Ben, I know you don't like to talk about Jeddah too much, but in this case you have to. With that victory, Pope should take that spot on countback. Che is currently scoring 6 points, which will put him on 217. So that'll put him on 226 for the season, which isn't enough to overhaul Pope should he finish in that 2nd spot. So if Pope has things stay as they are, then he winds up this season 3rd, which is remarkable given that he missed the first 4 races. And he drove them as a reserve, but wasn't eligible to score points. So the fact that he came in, obviously won that first race, returning full time, and has since then has put together a campaign worthy of 3rd in the championship, it's fair play to him. You've got to admit.
100%, yeah. Credit to Pope. He's done really well since settling in back as a full-time driver now. Just one thing on the track limit situation at Corps. It is purely down to dirty air, tyre wear, tyre temperatures, etc. I've raced around it before. It is not nice going through Corps because you believe it's a fast up corner and then you go about 80 km left wide, so it's not exactly the best of corners.
Do you know what? I've
at least in reverse anyway.
It's not fun that first time when you sort of try and figure the circuit out and you try and take cops sort of as you would and you just go flying off into the grass. It's not an enjoyable experience, not one that I recommend by any means. I'm sure you wouldn't either, Ben. But in terms of that train, I mean, things have sort of started to decouple a little bit. If you don't mind my phrasing, as PJ Khaled still leads the train by just under a second to JB, who's still very much in DRS range and still keeping pace with the Aston Martin driver. Obviously, if he's on 18 lap mediums, then fair play to him. I get the feeling that he must have changed his tyres under the safety car, as the hostage hasn't taken hold for him in terms of what we're seeing on our screen. But yeah, no, I'm guessing he did bit. I imagine he's likely on 8 lap old mediums like Dan, like TJ. But yeah, he's doing a good job right now. And obviously, as we run, Haas is still in front by a couple of points, so I think he'd likely need that place back off PJ to have things go in Williams' favour a bit more. It's gonna be very close. We'll give it that, and we've still got a good 31 laps to go in this Grand Prix. But Grumio is almost 10 seconds in front now of Pope, as those soft tyres thing have likely really hit the cliff, and I dare say we may see him start to fall prey to PJ perhaps later on in this thing, and we'll see how close the Aston Martin gets and whether we can bring the rest of the field back into play, as behind them we continue to look through the order here for anything going on. It looks like it's all single file as of right now. Emery obviously there, back there in P12. Red Bull not looking too good for them in the Constructors' Championship. It looks like they're going to be finishing 5th as it stands right now. So things aren't fantastic in that corner. McLaren, obviously, a month or two ago, we were tipping those guys as dark horses, perhaps even win the Constructors' Championship, but things haven't gone quite to plan for them since. Their best finish in terms of these last 5 races being 3rd place, which was achieved by Landlord in Mexico. The next one being a 4th place finish, one for Landlord in Qatar and one for AT last week in Abu Dhabi. So that run of form they hit mid-season, Ben, I think it's fallen away at this point, but we'll see how AT fares as he comes back next season. But Landlord won't be with us next campaign. He is calling it quits in terms of RDL for season 20.
Yeah, I think what we're all going to see, at least in this final race for Landlord, is we're just going to see him have a bit of fun. We're not going to really see too much for it, unless we get a safety car and weather conditions change drastically. I can't see Landlord really pushing Grumio for the win. Grumio is flying. Along with that, PJ is consistently taking about 5/10 a second out of Pope.
Yeah, I'm seeing it. Yeah, he was about 4.6 back last time round here. That gap is now 4.0. So progress definitely being made on PJ's ending as Pope's tyres do fall off, and he's going to start obviously struggling a lot more. And whether we see him pit this time to try and counteract that as soon as he can, I have to wait and see as to what he does going into. No, he's going to stay out as he goes towards goes through Abbey. So continue on as we are. Pope crossed the lines begin lap 21, 132.5. PJ's lap is a 131.8, so 7/10 gained on that lap alone, Ben. So you're seeing it in terms of change of paces. Dan is in the pit lane here, so we're seeing our first stop since the red flag. And I should think we'll see the other 2 medium runners in after a little while too.
Yeah, interestingly enough, this is Dan's second stop, if I'm not mistaken. He stopped before the red flag.
I think he may have. This counts as third stop. I think he made a change in tyres to mediums under the red flag, as everyone else did. So he's also made a wing change as well. So he's getting rid of that damage he sustained on the race starts. He was making progress, but things have sort of stalled for him in the last couple of laps or so. But the Haas driver will be away as he leaves the pit exit, which is now at this very far end of the pit lane. Obviously, it's quite a long pit lane entry at Silverstone normally, so this time obviously it's a long exit. But it gets himself up to speed, going towards Stowe, but moves down to P18. And it's his 3rd stop of the Grand Prix overall, if we're counting the stop he made under the red flag. As we continue on down the order here, still DJ in P4. It looks as though he's managed to get around JB, who's under the pressure from HB Cook himself. Che is still his P7, Webby's still P8, Curtis still P9, and Landlord now in P10 thanks to that pass being made by, thanks to the pit stop being made by Dan. And that obviously, that moves him back in front of Pope by just 1 point in that race for 3rd place. So all Landlord needs to do is score, and unless Pope wins the race, that should be enough for him.
Yeah, it's not over till it's over, really. We'll find out on lap 52 to see what actually happens, as looks like the drivers are starting to definitely get a lot better with the track going in reverse. We may actually see the RB pit, and he does. TJ is into the box.
Last race as a reserve for TJ before he comes into to run full time next season. Of course, in terms of what team, we won't be sure until the team draw at some point in the next couple of weeks. And obviously the first race turning back to Australia. Looking forward to what should be an exciting campaign. Hopefully a less dominant campaign. Hopefully we'll see someone give Grumio a real run for his money. Obviously this has been quite a dominant season for the 10-time champion. As TJ pits onto a set of hard tyres, he is now away. No concerns whatsoever from the RB team. Obviously Dan moving up a spot. Grumio is going through... is going down the Wellington Straight as Pope enters Luffield. So big gap there. That's 14.6 seconds. I think 12 laps ago, Pope was on Grumio's tail and threatened to make a move, but not anymore. This one, that's a long way gone now. And obviously PJ now 2.3 seconds back from Pope, so he's being reeled in, as we said, Ben. I mean, big gains there for both cars in the second sector.
Yeah, 100%. It's mainly in that second sector alone where PJ is taking quite a bit of time out. Pope. I wouldn't be too surprised if we see Pope into the box in the next couple of laps.
Let's see if he comes in this time.
Playing that, maybe in. No.
Not this time. Well, we'll keep an eye out for him. Obviously, when he comes in. We'll have to check on that later on. HB Cook is still there behind JB. JB currently scoring 10 points still for Williams, so it's currently 35 points going Williams' way. And Haas are currently scoring scoring 6 as JB goes wide there, going through out of Vale. And both Che and HB Cook have navigated that supremely. Oh, cars are out.
Oh,
Curtis
right.
and Websy both off, and Websy lucky to still be going. Safety car's out. Big shunt there.
This is helped Pope out quite a bit, despite having a 16-second. Well, despite Grumio having a 16-second buffer over Pope, at least Pope can have a free pit stop. What happened there, though?
I mean, for a second, I was saying how well that fight through Vale was navigated, but apparently not. Yeah, Curtis and Websy coming together, and obviously both Ferraris now find themselves in instance over the course of the Grand Prix. Websy has no front wing left on that machine, so obviously he'll have to box and change that over. But we are nearing the point now where pit stops are coming into the play for the small minority of cars, because the majority start on those hard tires to go as long as they can into the race here. But things obviously turning on their head for the second time in this race. Grumio will likely pit and still maintain his lead as Cotney gets the hard tyres on. He's the first car to the pit lane. Grumio comes in now. Pope will obviously join him as well in a matter of moments, in about 20 seconds or so. PJ, his charge brought to a halt here, but obviously he'll emerge right behind in the race for second place. Excuse me. Grumio is in. And Ben, honestly, in terms of tyres, where would you go from here? If I had to ask you that as a former driver.
Hard tyres are probably better off going with. Mediums would probably die off towards the end. However, if there is like a late race safety car, then you're totally in luck. However, it looks like the hard tyres should be the ones to go for. Saying that though, I believe Grumio is on a set of softs.
Yeah, he is. I don't think that's how you can tell with Ben. He's not watching the stream because he's not one of those drivers who's got the stream on the background. But oh no, Pope gone for softs too. So these two are both going on a bit of a chase here.
Oh, it's trying to mix us up here.
Okay, right. Oh, Intersp. You seen this?
I'm sorry. What is going off? Why?
We can't see the weather. The track is clouding over. Does DJ know something that we don't? Perhaps. What's going to be going on? There's a few cars pitting for Inters now. Okay, right. Well, we could be getting rain in this Grand Prix in the foreseeable future. Keep an eye on the halos when we start seeing the raindrops appearing here. Is there rain coming, Ben? This could make things a lot more interesting. The track is definitely a lot cloudier compared to what it was, but there's a mix of tyres on the show here because the majority of cars gone for the dry tyres. So how close is this rain if it's coming at all? But a huge wrench in the plans to the majority of drivers here should there be rain in play.
This is a massive gamble for those who have got out of the intermediates, like the example of CJ, who is on Inters. So is Cook. So unless that rains a few laps out, but it still looks pretty bright out there.
Bright enough, but I mean, it's getting darker and darker by the second here, and I dare say this could open things up quite nicely for DJ, HB Cook, Websy, and AT. Those are the four cars that are already on intermediate tyres, but obviously, like you say, Ben, they're banking on this rain coming soon, because if we get to a restart, we get a few laps in, and these guys are obviously going to lose a fair bit of wear from running wet tyres on a dry track. So we'll see here, but the second half of the race could get a lot more interesting here as we look to cap off this season with what could be a spectacular close to the campaign. I think while we're in this situation, we should probably look in terms of points, how we're looking in terms of those positions. I think as it stands right now, with Grumio currently scoring, he is scoring 25, JB is scoring 6 points, so it's 31, which isn't enough yet for Williams to win the Constructors. 10th is pitting. So we had another driver who's been turned. Imri also no, that is still 10th. Imri staying out on the medium tyres. He stayed out, I believe, on this occasion. He's gone to an older set of mediums. JB also pitting. So a few cars coming in now. See, JB is critical to the picture in the Constructors Championship. That moves Che into 8th place. So obviously now this is not enough for Williams to take the title from Haas. Obviously Dan starting this one from back of the field, P18. It could be P16 depending on where where 10th and JB emerged. But JB onto Inters, 10th onto Softs. So two differing choices, Ben. I'm not liking how this is looking for the majority of cars in this one, because if this rain is coming, then that's going to throw a massive wrench into everybody's plans, save for those now 5 drivers who are now on intermediate tyres.
Yeah, what I'm also starting to realise is the fact that we can still see blue skies. So the rain must be at least 5 or so minutes away. And when the safety car gets called back in, we may start to see the intermediates start to fall off and then come back into life. So this is a bit of a weird one.
Weird one indeed. Off topic, I've just seen a screenshot here in the Discord chat from Curtis, who currently runs in the 10th position, trying to score those last few points for Ferrari. He's got what looks to be intensive floor damage compared to what we're used to in this thing. Whether that's the conditions, obviously Curtis obviously had a scrape or two today in this Grand Prix, but we'll see in terms of how he handles that. As we're probably nearing a restart now, as everyone is sort of back together again. I dare say we could get a safety car called in this time. Yes, we are. So second half of the race, 27 laps to go. Grumio leads Pope, PJ, DJ, and HB Cook. So the top 5, in terms of tyres, soft, hard, inter. This could be very, very entertaining here. As Grumio will back everyone up, I think, before charging out of Abbey to get the restart underway. But, I mean, what do you think, Ben? Is the rain going to come as quickly as you expect?
I don't know, because then it also depends on how heavy the rain falls as well. And if indeed the rain does last, we know what Silverstone's like for each other. So we'll see what happens on the safety car restart.
English weather could yet intervene in the ending to this RDL season, as Grumio will back everyone up here going towards Abbey to get this one underway. The second half of the Grand Prix, seconds away now from commencing, as everyone is all there. Grumio waiting for a good run out of Abbey. He may actually leave it towards the line, perhaps. I mean, we've seen him do it before in the past, but now on the main straight, and he's had to go at some point. Yes, there he goes. Back to racing again on at lap 26 this Grand Prix. Long way to go, and all eyes on the skies when the first droplets of rain could appear in this one. Contact between HB Cook and Landlord there. Damage for Landlord. His wing is gone. Well, part of his wing is gone. He's got end plate damage on the right side here. Everyone else kept it nice and clean as we continue on back to racing it. Imri into the 4th spot, making a pass on DJ already. HB Cook down to P7. Che making passes. Those two the Alpine and Saba will likely struggle for the time being while we wait for the Inter tyre to become the tyre in favour. Should they become the tyre in favour at all? But Che in the 5th spot now, and obviously doing the work for Haas to get them the Constructors title between him and Dan. Obviously sits in P15 now.
There's more contact, by the way, for that, Dan. Zach, sorry. There is a lot more contact. Rain is now here. Rain has arrived.
Oh, there we go. Right then, all of a sudden, action stations in the pit lane. It could get very, very busy here. The majority of cars are on those dry weather tyres. And DJ, HB Cook, Websy, ATJB. This is the opportunity. This is the moment they've been waiting for. As you see Curtis go very wide there, going through Luffield, but keeps the car under control as he fights almost 3 wide there. Contact between 3 cars. Curtis around on the curve. He's kept it luckily away from the field there. But we'll see here. What do Grumio, Pope, Imri, Che, PJ, what do they do? They're the top 5. They're the first cars to keep an eye on here when the pit lane opens up and we get back in the pit lane. They're all staying out for the minute. So we'll see in terms of what gets done from here and how quickly it takes the intermediate tyres to become the tyres of choice. As Pope sits almost a second behind Grumio here, who continues holding strong in the race lead. Imri in 3rd, Che 4th, and PJ rounds at your top 5 by 3 seconds. Courtney Goblin looks to be the first driver to bite.
Yeah, what I'm starting to think now is that those who have committed, those who are on the dry compound tyres, have got to maximise their advantage now. Well, we may still see fires up and down the grid. Those on the likes of the soft are obviously going to perform a lot better than those on the medium, for example. But we're still seeing carnage everywhere we look here, Zach.
It's fantastic. Landlord makes the pass, P6, yellow flag for the back, and that is Curtis Slow on corner exit, leaving Stowe. He's all okay though. Things look to be alright. Obviously, he's still fighting that damage, and obviously, I imagine that spin didn't help things as he makes his way through Beckett and Maggots. So obviously, the car might be under control as he's dealing with a wet track for the first time in this Grand Prix. It feels like it's been ages since we actually saw a wet race in this league, so I'm looking forward to seeing how these guys handle these conditions. Imri's still leading Che by a couple of tenths here. Obviously, Che on the soft tyre, but these guys up front who are on the dry tyres, they've made their beds now. They've got to lay in them. As 10th making the pass here on HB Cook, that moves the Red Bull team with both cars back into the points again. As we run right now, you see Dan challenging TJ. Landlord right in front of both these guys. Landlord still has that damage from the race start, so keep an eye out for that. Contact with the Sauber of HB Cook as Grumio again goes fastest. And the top 5, top 4 staying where they are. JB, 3-second penalty. That's his first of the evening, if my memory serves me correctly. Yes, it does. 3 seconds for him and for Alvar in terms of guys with 3 seconds. Courtney Goblin does 6 to his name. And further back here, we are now in the second half of this Grand Prix, and still a long way to go. Alvar, 10 seconds to be in the pit lane. I think he'll be changed onto those Inters too, Ben. As we're seeing more and more cars make that change.
it's got to be Inters now, surely. The track is looking very slippy at the moment. Then again, DRS is still enabled, so let's see what the stewards do, see what they decide. What we are starting to see now is the fact that these Inters runners from the safety car are pretty struggling a lot for grip.
And Websy, or one of those cars who made that pit stop already, he's coming in for a second set of inters here. So that just shows you how much time these guys, how much grip they're losing from running these things in what are still relatively dry conditions. Obviously, you see how hard the rain is falling on Grumio's on his halo there. You get a better idea of it on Imri's whole car, which is being stricken by these raindrops. But he's still continuing on as he is right now. Che in behind him on those soft tyres, not being able to challenge him just yet. So Imri holds on to that podium place. PJ behind these guys in 5th, and it's Dan 6th. Things looking good for Haas all of a sudden again in terms of their Constructors' Championship bid, as Dan makes up a ton of places then since that restart. He's been a master doing that today. TJ P7, Landlord P8, 10th, 9th, and DJ is in 10th. But the top guys staying as they are here, and Pope still chasing Grumio. He's about 1.3 behind them. But again, with Landlord on the points, it's not looking good in terms of Pope's bid for it will be P3 in the championship. Should he get the result that favours him? But he's doing it. He's doing what he needs to do right now. Put himself in 2nd place, which is about the best he can do given how dominant Grumio has been so far. Landlord gets hit with a penalty, and that might change things for Pope.
That could be huge. That could definitely be a huge one for the P3 fight at least. Looks like the Inters are starting to finally settle into the track. Not really seeing too many more moments from the intermediate runners. I wonder, because the likes of PJ and I think there's somebody else on the hard compound tyres.
That'll be TJ. The two
yes,
J's.
so
We'll call it that.
the two J's are all on hard compound tyres, which I struggle to understand if it's raining this hard. So I don't know if they've had a bit of a strategy issues. We've got a yellow flag in sector 1.
Also, Curtis again, slow on corner exit. He may have had another slide through Stowe. It's not been the race to remember for him. Obviously, his last point score coming in Brazil back almost a month ago at this point. So I'm sure he'd like to cap off the season with some points if he can. But it's looking quite bleak for Ferrari at the minute, despite the fact they should wind up P9 at this stage. TJ's obviously in the points, but as he cannot score points for the team as a reserve, it's down to Alvar, who sits last of the running cars in P18, and we made that change on some intermediate tyres. So he'll be home for a turnaround here in the last 23 laps or so of this Grand Prix, as Grumio still leads Pope by a second and a half here. Imri still got Che right behind him, but Imri pitting this time. Right, here we go. First change of the cars in the top 5. Imri is in. I'm guessing Inter's going on.
That'll be Inters. Has to be Inters. What other driver will it be? So we'll see if the other drivers follow suit to Imri's decision. Imri may end up picking up a couple places here and there. Obviously, he's going to have the fresher rubber. He's also going to have a lot more grip on those intermediates compared to those dry compound tyres. So let's see what happens in the next 10 laps or so. These next 10 laps will be pivotal.
I've seen this in the past in terms of at this circuit, in terms of how weather can intervene with a race here. I think a few seasons. I think season 14, Ben. So there's been a while before you joined us in the RDL. But there was a race at Silverstone between Che and Grumio. Those two are fighting for the wing. Rain intervened the last 6 laps or so. Che pitted for Inters. Grumio stayed out on his dry tyres, and Che hunted him down and won the Grand Prix in the last lap. It was a fantastic charge in those last few laps. I doubt we'll see anything like that today. But the prospect is there should Grumio just try and stay out on these tyres, because the rain doesn't have to be getting any harder, and things look all okay for the two leaders up front right now. There's been no real mistakes made by either one of them. Chase, same thing. PJ is there. Yellow flag, and it's Curtis slow in Beckett and Maggots as he keeps the car rolling. I think he's trying to maintain things with obviously that floor damage I mentioned earlier on. There's DJ passing Ethan up front, or further up front in the race for P9. Obviously the last few points Bay here. Inters versus Softs. Neither driver seems to struggle more than the other. But DJ with a better traction on corner exit and will make the pass there into the ninth spot for Alpine as they try and keep Sauber at bay in the constructors as well. Obviously HB Cook, their only hope there for the green machine from Switzerland. Alpine more or less having locked that place down going into this final round. But we are now nearing the point where we should be looking at more drivers pitting. None of the top 5 have gone for it just yet. So we're going to stay as we are for a few laps longer. These guys get as much as they can out of their soft tyres before likely going for one last, hopefully going to the end on the intermediate tyres. We'll see in terms of everyone else what they go for. DJ's the highest running car on the Inters as of right now. He's currently, though he's saying that he's at 30 seconds off the lead as it stands. So plenty to keep an eye out for. But I doubt he'll emerge in front, as Ethan tries to make the pass from again, leaving Stowe. DRS in play once more, just for Ethan. But again, even at this point with DRS, DJ is keeping with him, and that's with very little battery use too. So it looks like, as you say, Ben, the Inters are coming into their own more in this second half of the race, and we should be seeing more pit stops.
Hopefully, yeah, that is a lovely mood from CJ that is just pulled up on his. Don't know if we pulled up on this, that, but it looks like Ethan's carrying some damage. There's been too much to carry on throughout this Grand Prix. We've probably picked it up. I've just forgotten about it.
Yeah, he's got the air damage there on his end plate, but obviously he's managed perfectly fine, it seems, the last couple of laps or so since whenever he picked that up. So we'll keep an eye out for the situation there. Both the top two staying out. Again, the same thing there. Che, PJ, both staying out too. Does Dan make a change at all? Does Dan come in? Yes, he is. Yes, change here. Dan is coming into the pit lane. And the top four staying out on the dry tyres.
Don't want to alarm you, Zach, but Landlord's carrying a lot of damage. I wonder if Landlord's had a bit of a moment.
It's still just the end plate, or is there anything more to that?
It looks more like it's major. It looks like it's from right hand side. Looks like it's missing the majority of the top, so it could be another visual thing where they don't actually lose too much time.
We'll have to wait and see in terms of what Landlord's situation is later on. Of course, he's still on those soft tyres, so there's every chance that any mistakes may also be down to the tyre not being suited to the conditions here. But I mean, the halo starts to get wetter here as Curtis gets a penalty 10 seconds in the pit lane. Right, that'll be tough for him to make back. Make short for safety car. Him and Alvar, same situation in that case. Obviously, that's what put them so far behind at this stage. Obviously, Alvar yet to serve his. He's still running last of the 18 cars running in this Grand Prix. Majority cars now on the intermediate tyre, Ben. So we are looking now at just 8 cars who are still on the dry tyres at this point. And Ethan is still, even with that damage, is still keeping up with DJ. So not impacting him too much as DJ goes for a slide there through Cops, kept it under control. With DRS into Ethan's hand now. This could be another move to the outside going into Laughfield now. Keep an eye on these guys, Ben, as they go for it into that left-hander, fighting for the 8th spot. DJ looks to have the advantage, but Ethan will be on the inside for the right-hander now as they go into the hangar straight. Ethan back in front on corner exit, so it appears that we're still in that transitional period where the dries might still be as fast than as the intermediate tyres is. So we'll keep an eye out for that, but should the rain get any heavier, I think we should see a change. I think as you said earlier, if we're waiting still to see if DRS gets disabled, that'll be a surefire sign, but right now the majority of the field are on the Inter, so we'll see in terms of how that changes from here on out. But Grumio still leads by 2 seconds to Pope, so he's doing his job as he should for the time being.
Yeah, we are literally round the crossover. It looks like the Inters are starting to come into a bit more rather than the slick tyre runners. So I wouldn't be too surprised to see like the top 3 all pitting for the intermediate tyres. Looks like the rain hasn't came down that heavy now up until now pretty much. It looks like it's mainly started off as the British drizzle, as we call it around here.
So Grumio then is holding on to things as it stands right now. But obviously, I mean, you said that, but we've seen a number of cars who I think would normally be good enough to a number of drivers who have been good enough to in the past to hold their own in the light rain conditions like this, pitting for Inters, which just gives me thoughts that perhaps there's more rain coming later on. So I'm not entirely sure as to. I mean, that's the one thing we commentators can't see, unfortunately. We can't see the weather patterns like the drivers can. So that'll be something we hope for in the next F1 game, as I have done for the last several years or so since commentating in this league. But continuing on here, there's 19 laps to go now, and Grumio is in control of this race by almost 3 seconds to Pope in at that 2nd spot. Che is still in 3rd place, so looking good for Haas to wrap up the Constructors' title with JB and P14. Obviously, those guys as combined not scoring enough points at the minute, even with Grumio out front. PJ is right behind Chase. We're trying to nick that podium at the last if he can here. PJ looking for a few points to get himself in front of Ethan. Well, if he scores 15 points, then I dare say he'll do that, because Ethan is... We said that Ethan did P8, so I think Ethan should still emerge in front of him. But any changes later on could put pay to that late in the last parts of this Grand Prix. Imri starts out of the points, obviously on those intermediate tyres, and made his change as PJ makes the pass on Che going into Chapel and through Beckett and Mackett. So the Aston Martin on the hard tyre is still holding their own. And Ben, you were questioning that decision a few laps ago, weren't you?
Yeah, safe to say I've been proven wrong by PJ, who's having an absolute blind of a race. What race PJ is having at this very time. Really doing well and really benefiting from that good qualifying position. Just looking back now, we had 2 moves in the space of 30 seconds from both Aston Martin drivers.
Ethan going for it too. He's up into the 7th spot now. over Landlords. So I think it's looking good for the Astons. It's a shame they've got nothing to fight for constructors-wise, because those two are really on it today. I mean, obviously Ethan is fighting to try and stay in front of his teammate. I mean, if we swap them around, then PJ will be... So Ethan will be looking at P9 in the championship, because he's 15 points back from Websy right now, and PJ is equally 15 points back from him. So it's a weird funny spot to be in numerically, I suppose, at this point in the Grand Prix. But obviously the margins could change there if Ethan finds his way onto the podium and Websy keeps where he's outside of the points. He's now last in the running cars, but he has pitted now for another 7 intermediate tyres. These Inters aren't being too kind to Websy as of right now. I'm not sure he's quite got the hang of them compared to a few of the drivers who have stayed out. Obviously, DJ stayed on those same tyres since the restart, as has AT, as has HP Cooks. A number of cars who have taken advantage of the situation here. But it looks as though the rain might be dying down. I'm not sure if it's dying down, because I mean, I've got no clue in terms of the water. You can't really see a lot of it on the circuit. There hasn't really been considered enough to warrant a change. But Landon is in, though. So we'll see whether he pits onto the intermediate tyres, and we'll get a sense then of what's to come in these final 17 laps or so.
Yeah, just looking back now, Imri's all over the back of AT, so that could be a tasty scrap going on for the next few laps or so. Don't forget Dan out of the equation as well. Dan's right there with the AT and Imri as well.
Never overlook Dan as he goes for trying to laugh a move on both cars if he can. Landon obviously in the pit lane. Inters are on for him, so this could be the intermediates to the end then, and we'll see how long Grumio, Pope, Che, 10th and Ethan go on those soft tyres as Dan makes his move into Chapel but backs out of it. They're trying to force a mistake out of Imri, who holds his own, slides a little bit there through Beckett. Out of Maggots now. They're making their move on corner exit. Both cars keeping it in within good range of AT. DRS range obviously in play there. All 4 cars are on Inters, but Imri and Dan with the fresher tyres. Both cars find the grass there, pushing it as hard as they can. Imri not getting much game with the DRS, but Dan is. Imri slides in front of him, so Dan tries the inside instead. He's close to contact. There is contact, and both cars slide for a second, but both cars hold on to it. And I think neither one of them could have done with a proper spin out there at this point in the Grand Prix. They're both fighting for what's currently the last point on offer in this Grand Prix. Both cars are now all 4 cars I think are now catching Ethan, who I think maybe on the wrong tyre now at this stage. He's been on the soft tyres for 11 laps, so those things falling off.
Dan, no. Dan's gone off. Imri's gone off.
Dan Imri wide.
Just caught that going through I think it was Aintree. Is Imri looks to move down the inside. Oh wow. Oh dear. Yeah, they both made a bit of contact. Both ended up having snap railway state and both went off the racetrack.
DJ in the pit lane for a fresh of Inter, so they're going to get in one place each regardless. But yeah, tough break for the pair of them at this stage of the Grand Prix, as they obviously continue to fight on for it. It's now P9 and P10. But it's gonna be interesting to see how the end of this race pans out. 7 cars left on the dry tyre. But saying that, DJ's making this change back over. I'm not sure that the gamble to make that move onto those tyres has worked out for them too much as we go through as he leaves Vale out the pit exit there. He emerges in P13. Could be P14, depends on where Landau comes out. Nope, he can kind of stay in front. He's on the hard tyres now, so that rain, I imagine, will start dying off, or perhaps he's going for it to push on the dry tyres as these guys have up front. Grumio still leads then. We are 12. We are... I said 8. I'm going to lose my count.
16 laps.
16 laps. Thank you, Ben. We are 16 laps from the finish here as Curtis goes a lap down. Websy obviously also a lap down, but went behind in the pit lane. Pope is on second. PJ still in third place. Che is still hunting down as they go through Vale once again here. They left club and went to Vale. I've now got the corner names up on my screen at last, so we'll see through there how we handle those in the last part of this race. The rain is still not showing any signs of getting any heavier, Ben, so I dare say the Inters may not last too much longer. I dare say we could get one more stop for dry tyres in this Grand Prix for a number of cars. I'm looking at HP Cook and JB in particular as cars that could stop later on.
Yeah, I wonder if Pope's had a bit of a... Pope has gone soft. Pope will have to stop again. So Pope's going to have to stop again. He's also losing time now quite a bit to PJ. PJ is flying at the moment.
And PJ could be a dark horse to watch out for in this Grand Prix. As obviously he sits there on the hard tyres. They can go at least a little bit longer, I should think. Whether he can perhaps go for another set of soft to the end should he need to. It's going to be interesting because Grumio will likely stop 2. He's been on the soft for 13 laps. I doubt he can carry those to the end. I think he's got no chance carrying those to the end. If he does, then I'll do a if he carries them to the end and wins the Grand Prix, I'll do a shoey live on stream But we're holding it as now, and I'm hoping he's not watching this, and hoping that they won't hold me to that should he then win the Grand Prix on these soft tires. But I mean, the rain is starting to sit on the racetrack a little bit more now.
I'm
What I'm seeing here. 15 laps to go. Pope is in. Yes, he is. PJ now in second place.
Yeah.
And hunt begins for PJ. See if he can run down Grumio for the lead. What a sight that would be. Yellow flag.
Yellow.
And that is a slow car. No, was all okay. I think it's just car
I
slowed
don't know
down.
who that is.
Oh, no, sorry. It's Curtis. Curtis is pitting in. Right, okay. Well, I dropped the ball there on the lap traffic. Curtis is in.
I did
He's
well.
out of it.
Curtis retired. He's had a miserable last race of the season. Curtis is unfortunately it's just gone from bad to worse. Not really necessarily his own fault, but it's just had one of those races where it's never quite clicked.
Tough run of races in the season for Curtis, then, but Ferrari should still finish in P9 in the Constructors' Championship with Alvar currently in P15. Not doing enough there. He needs fourth place or higher to do it at this point. So Alvar would need something big to happen. Obviously, has that 10-second penalty to think about as well. Has to be careful here when Curtis re-emerges onto the circuit when his AI brings him back onto the racetrack. PJ is now 4.9 seconds behind Grumio, so it's closing a little bit here. And I should think that Grumio will stop. Pope's on inters now, so whether we are going to start seeing a bit more rain here. I'm starting to see the rain I'm actually starting to see it on my screen falling for the first time today. It's been quite thin rain over the course of the Grand Prix. So whether we see a late change here for everyone going on to one last set to cap this Grand Prix off. Grumio obviously now Pope was pitted, may make that next move. We'll see Curtis pull his car over the exit of Stowe as Grumio makes his way through Village and coming through to cap what's likely what could be capping off his stint. Yes, in he comes. So one last stop here for Grumio. Will PJ join him in the pit lane or will PJ stay out? PJ stays out. Right, so lead changed in for the first time in quite a while. PJ now leads the Grand Prix with just 14 laps to go in this thing.
Yeah, PJ is looking really good at this moment in time. We've got a number of drivers on the intermediate runners, but yet DRS is still enabled.
I suppose the rain just not heavy enough for it to warrant a change just yet, but I feel like it's getting heavier in terms of how much is falling on the circuit. So we could see the race control still play a part later on this Grand Prix. Grumio's gone for medium tyres, so he's still banking on the dry weather tyres this later on in the race. I mean, he's done around them so far, but he's obviously lost a fair bit of time to PJ, as did Pope, as Pope will emerge right behind Grumio here. So I say right behind, he's going to be a few seconds back when Grumio goes into Stowe. Pope rather got Che quite close, Dan's still there in P6, so Haas are on course then for the Constructors' title. Should think stay as they are for the next 13 laps. Pope's chance to think of P3 in the championship is shot with, I mean, Lionel's at the point, so if Pope can still finish second, then that'll do it for him. But whether we see any more stops in this Grand Prix, whether we see any late changes, Lionel has that penalty to think about as well, so Pope could still finish third, but Che is also there. I mean, Pope needs to gain 9 points on Che overall, so if Che can finish fifth or higher, then that'll do him nicely, and Che will finish in third. So keep an eye on both on the Haas and the Mercedes here, so they make their charges in the final 13 laps of this race. But PJ leads TJ by 11 and Grumio by another 9.
Yeah, so PJ is just extending the gap to TJ here and there, but he's 20 seconds in front of Grumio as it stands at the moment. Is PJ got an outside chance of a race win, would you say, Zach?
I mean, if I'm PJ here, honestly, given the conditions, unless they get heavier, I'm going for the win if I can. But I mean, it's gonna be a big ask for PJ to keep that thing on the road, given those tires done 16 laps already, and given the conditions too. Grumio may start closing at the rate of not to. Keep an eye out. Like I say, he's 19.5 seconds back. I'd say PJ, if he wants the race win, is better off staying out and going from there. Especially now at this point, if he's going for the win, then he's made his bed and he's got a lay in it. So we'll see what he has up his sleeve. But obviously, a late change in this race could bring chaos, like a safety car, or perhaps even another red flag. Who knows? We've never had 2 red flags in one RDL Grand Prix before, so. I mean, it's been chaotic, this one. And for PJ to go for the win here, I'd do the same thing. And TJ, who won this race back in Season 14, which I made mention to him of earlier on, is there 10 seconds back in the second spot. But equally, he's on 18-lap-old hard tyres. And Grumio is about 7 seconds back from him now. So we may see, I dare say, Grumio will likely still win this race from here. He got to close in 18 seconds in 13 laps, or maybe 12 laps in a moment. But if the rain draws to a close, I'd say that helps PJ's odds. But I think if it stays as is, then he's got a good chance.
Yeah, it's gonna go down right to the very wire at this moment. Ethan's into the box now for probably a new set of intermediates, I'd like to think.
Only been on them for a few laps. So I should think we'll be looking at a tyre change. Oh, it's a wing change as well. Right, there we go.
Wing
Makes more
change.
sense. A medium tyres for Imrie.
And onto dry tyres. Whoa.
Okay, so we're seeing things start to unravel now. I think the rain will likely start to move away potentially. At least it's not going to get any wetter than it is right now. Courtney there, P15. Alvar Websy bring up the order. And as it stands right now, it's still at the minute, still 17 seconds. Make that just under 16, separating Grumio and PJ, who I dare say is going for an unlikely victory to cap this season off. But we'll see what sort of rate Grumio closes in at on those tyres and if he can keep it up all the way to the end. But it is Grumio. It would surprise me if he couldn't keep up.
15 seconds?
He is closing at a rate of knots.
He's closing fast.
We'll
Closing
see.
very fast indeed.
At this point, I think we're better off to not placing our bets on PJ to win the race, but rather putting our bets on what lap Grumio catches up. As you can see him, you can see TJ in the distance. Webbsy's out. Yellow flag is out. He's retired in the pit lane, so no chance of a safety car there. And obviously be, I think PJ will want that right now. A chance at a free pit stop potentially to keep him in the order. But I mean, I dare say, can somebody get a podium finish out of this? I think he finishes on the podium minimum. It will likely be second place at worst for him. I can't see TJ catching him now. Grumio's now 14.4 seconds behind. He's about 4 seconds back from TJ as he makes the move to put Courtney a lap behind. Yellow flag obviously still in play as Websy will leave the pit lane, but tough day for Websy and for Alpine as a whole. And obviously HP Cook scoring 2 points, but at this point they need 19 points to keep things rolling. So HP Cook would need to win the race from here, which obviously is quite unlikely in these final 11 laps. Grumio's now 13.6 behind, and he obviously now in front of Courtney, as I say. There is TJ going through Village. The rain is showing no sign of stopping, but it's continuing on as is. Websy pulls the car over, race over for him. Landlord making the pass on Imrie for P12 as they go through Beckett and Maggots. And we are nearing sort of the end of the Grand Prix now. And we're, car going wide there. That is JB wide on corner exit. He's scoring points right now for that team, but so are Haas, both Cheyenne down P5, P6, that's 18 points going their way. If Grumio can win this thing, then that'll be 26 points going up with Williams. So not enough for Haas to lose the constructors. Those guys knew what their job was going into this one, just to score a few points to keep that lead as steady as they can. And while there was a chance for Williams to try and win this thing earlier on in the day, Haas have taken advantage of the situation and they're going to come away with the constructors title. Che and Dan, they're a phenomenal pairing. I think they could have won it last season. Didn't quite work out for them, but this time around they're going to end up with a big trophy.
Yeah, as I'm just currently watching the Imrie Landlord fight get a little bit more tasty. They've been fighting this entire lap. What a fight this is. But congratulations already. I say that, we've still got 10 laps left. Anything can happen in the world of Formula 1. We'll see what happens right at the very end.
Anything can happen, it usually does, as Murray Walker used to say back a long time ago at this point. As you say, Ben, this battle could get very exciting between Imrie and Landlord. I like the fact that the stewards have kept the DRS in play, which is good to see. I do appreciate that as Imrie goes a bit wider there through Stowe, still up the racetrack, and Landlord is going to pull away a little bit here as they leave Stowe and go down towards Chapel. But he's got a good enough run with DRS to perhaps a bit of a battery to try and make a move. Should get close enough, but Landlord's got plenty of batteries for himself as well. Contact between the pair of them. Imrie slides up. Oh, another bit of contact. Imrie falls away, and that may have been a good chance for him to try and take the place from Landlord. No points in the line here, just sheer pride as he slides out of that complex of corners and into Cops. We'll see if he keeps the car on the grey stuff this time round. Both of them do. DRS for Imrie. If he can keep the car under control, I dare say he's got a good chance of making that move here, given how much he gained on the run towards Chapel. He's trying the outside of the inside. He's going to go for the outside. Going to send it in on Landlord. It's very tight between the pair of them here as they make their way through. As up front, Grumio makes the pass on TJ for second place. It's 10 seconds now between him and PJ for this race win. But behind them, these two are still side by side. Landlord wins out and Imrie had to settle back into line. As you said, Ben, very, very exciting stuff. And we'll see who comes out in front at the end of the Grand Prix. Imrie has much fresher into us compared to Landlord's 7-lap old ones.
Yep, this is an incredible fight. This is Max Verstappen, Charles Leclerc-esque from 2019. Remember that fight?
That's a fair way of putting it. I like that. I like that very much. As we'll continue to see this here. DJ is.
Oh, there's fights everywhere.
It's getting this Grand Prix is coming alive here in the closing laps. There's just 10 laps to go now. Grumio is 9.2 back from PJ. So I think we are looking now at the end of the Grand Prix. PJ's got to essentially keep Grumio from getting about a second a lap or so, and that should be enough for him to win the race. But I'm thinking that this race is likely Grumio's unless he makes some sort of clerical error in the closing laps here. But PJ has put himself in a great spot for a podium here. He's just 9 laps away from doing that, but I'm sure he's got his eyes on the win, and we'll see here if he can pull it off. But Grumio's closing.
Grumio is closing fast indeed. I'm just trying to look see what warnings the likes of Grumio and PJ are on. Grumio is on 2, so Grumio's got to be careful.
And PJ?
That could be decisive. PJ is on none.
Wow. Okay, and that is a sign of a good driver. Yellow
Sorry,
flag
one,
for the back.
sorry.
Oh, car around. JB off into the grass. Recovers it.
Yep.
No damage done.
Yeah.
Is there damage done? I'm not quite seeing it. I'm not as of yet until the camera changes away from the T-cam one. Both Imri and Landor going through. JB has got no damage. He's okay. But down to P13 now, and there's 18 lap hold into. Yellow flag again, and that is the Haas going slow. No, that is the RB Albar going slow. I think because blue flags are in play there. It takes something big, and he's closing laps to change things. Grumio now 6.5 behind them, really getting to work here. He's getting massively on that car in front. PJ on those hard tyres for 20 laps now. Ethan, I mean, what does he do?
DRS disabled.
Disabled. Okay, at long last. Well, it's taken them a good sort of almost 20 laps or so since the rain actually started, but at this point now DRS is off. That'll make Grumio's job slightly harder, having no DRS to go for an easier pass, but he's catching a fairly good rate. And I mean, if you're Ethan, it's a tough spot to be in because your teammate is there in front of you looking for a race win, but you've got Grumio closing on you, and obviously we've all been in that situation at some point in our lives. I was in that situation a couple of weeks ago doing community events on a Friday night, but yeah, if you're Ethan there, obviously blue flags being placed, so you can't really slow Grumio up. You should just hope that he catches you at a bad time, and see from there as TJ comes into the pit lane. One thing I have just thought of here, Ben, in terms of Pope's race, I haven't seen much of Pope in these last sort of 15 laps or so, but he's in 3rd place as it stands right now. I mean, Che's still in 4th place, so he did tend to happen to Che as well, but Landlord is still outside of the points, so Pope may still emerge with 2nd place. Zalbar's out. As a crash, is that a crash? Has he crashed the car?
No, he's gone into the pits on the side.
Okay, you're not seriously moving. All right, well, there we go then, down to 15 cars in this race. And I thought for a second a late safety car would change things massively here in the closing laps and go for one last mad dash to the checker flag, but not to be, unfortunately. This season will end, I think, likely under full green conditions here with no safety car to intervene. But right now then, PJ is still in control, but Grumio 3.4 behind, and no sign of that rain letting up. Those hard tyres aren't getting any younger. As Alvar emerges back on the circuit, he's going to merge around cars here, so these have to be careful when to see him rejoin. HB Cook passing DJ here, so those guys will come out just around him. I have to see where Alvar's AI goes. He has to move out the way and let him go. Rather, he's going to have to let them through. Everyone has to keep it secure. Landlord to re-brake there to avoid hitting him. Imri, same thing behind him. Obviously, Imri's going to have got DRS disabled as Alvar pulls the car off. So RB are guaranteed now to finish in last place in the constructors. Of course, if TJ was still fighting for was an RB driver, he'd be fighting there to try and get the last points off of Dan, who's only about 7 seconds up the road from him here. 6 laps to go, and 7 laps technically, and PJ has got Grumio 2.1 behind. Ethan has pitted, so that answers that burning question I had a few laps ago about what Ethan does from here. But I'm thinking Grumio may well have this one under lock now if he can just keep the car under control and make that move on PJ.
Yeah, there's a famous quote that goes around saying that it's one thing to catch, it's another to pass. Grumio, whilst he's catching fast, he's not being affected by the turbulent air worked hard by that Aston Martin. So we'll see what happens in the next few laps, but I don't know. He's going to go right down to white.
I think without a doubt, but he's quite close. Obviously, DRS is not in play here, but he's been so fast these last couple of laps. I dare say, I mean, he's got a good chance when they leave Brooklyn to onto the Wellington Straight. I think I dare say he makes the move there if he can gain enough time going through Luffield and then through Brooklands. We'll see here. This could be the moment the race lead changes hands, possibly the final time in the race and the season. Landlord into P10 now. He's made the pass on DJ. DJ is slowing up yellow flag on the main straight. There's a car stopped up there.
Oh.
Grumio's closing in.
CJ.
Yep, DJ has recovered the car. No safety car in play. Grumio has caught PJ then with 6 laps to go. And it's down now to when he chooses to make that move. When does he go for it? That's the only question now. And I dare say this race might be over once Grumio makes that pass. Unless we get a late safety car or something to alter things. Grumio goes for full attack here, but PJ defending for his life as we enter the last 6 laps of the Grand Prix here on those 22-lap-old hard tyres. He's done a remarkable job with PJ and holding the lead, but Grumio is going to edge himself in front. Can PJ chuck him back at him? I don't think he can. Grumio back in the lead here, 6 laps to go. And I dare say, Ben, this race might be over as Imrie gets hit with another penalty there. That is his 3rd of the evening.
Yeah, it's not exactly been a plain and easy ride for him as he goes wide again. I wonder if he's not really seen the weather forecast because he seems to have struggled throughout the race, but particularly in the wet conditions, as Landlord is now making a move on Cook and just made the move on the inside of Luffield.
Out of Brooklands he goes then. Landlord making that pass into the 9th spot, and that may secure him P4. I dare say Che may take P3 in the end. He only needs to gain 9 points on Landlord. He's currently gaining 10. So Che looks to be finishing in 3rd place in the championship by 1 point here as things stand. PJ is still 1.3 behind Grumio here. And Pope will be looking, I think, trying to take 2nd place if he can these last couple of laps. Hope this one goes wrong with Landlord and Che in these close moments. I think Che will end up with 2nd, Pope 4th, and Landlord in 5th in this final race. He comes to as the last few laps of his RDL career, at least for now, come winding down. I say for now because I've seen him retire before back in the season 14 and came back after a while. So I'm not sure this is the last we'll ever see of Landlord, but obviously he's got quite a record in this league as it stands. He's walking out with a, to put it mildly, an unforgettable career for Landlord. Obviously Grumio's teammate for a long time, but also a champion of the league in his own right. Landlord, 258 races started, including this one. 67 wins, 41 pole positions, 24 fastest lap, and of course a 3-time series champion. Went to head-to-head with Grumio. He was the first champion that I crowned in this league, so obviously special to me in that sense. And Landlord obviously take victory countless times in the past. It'll be sad to see him go, but hopefully we'll see him back soon. As DJ comes in for his last set of soft tyres here, his last 5 laps, we'll see him charge down from where he is in the order. 15 cars left in this Grand Prix, the last of which being Ethan, last of the running cars. DJ, Courtney Goblin is there in P13. If we have 3 drivers who retire in these last 5 laps, then Courtney may end up with a point. We can only hope.
May.
Coming up.
Just may. Absolutely, we can always hope. PJ's been caught that much by Pope, so I'm gonna go on the outside of Cox. He gets moved on just before Cox. Good move by Pope, but those 20 odd laps hard tyres are now dead.
And I dare say that the podium dream may also die for PJ in these closing laps because Che is only 3.7 seconds behind, so but obviously he needs to close a bit more. But should he close, and that'll keep things nice and brief for Haas. They get a car on the podium to cap off this season. Grumio has been dominant. He leads by 2.1 seconds, but is there a chance that Pope can catch him? Because he is also closing quite quickly here. Is there still a chance, Ben, at a race for the win here? This is interesting because Pope, we haven't talked about much.
Always.
He could be in there.
Always a chance in Formula 1. Always. Just looking at the lap times now. Pope last time around at 38.1. Grumio 40.7.
Wow, 40.1, 30.9, 39.2. There's several seconds in play here, Ben. We could be seeing Pope add one last win. He is, for a long time this season, he was the only driver to have taken on Grumio and won. Because you remember, Grumio won the first 4 races of the season. He's been dominant, but Pope quickly arrived as a full-time driver this season and put pay to Grumio in a situation quite like this one. The only thing we're missing against Jeddah is you with a puncture crawling down the circuit. I'm sorry to say.
Oh, don't say that.
I know, I'm giving you flashbacks, but I mean, Pope is right here behind Grumio.
Here we go, Che gets PJ.
Che makes the pass for that 3rd spot. PJ falling off the podium here. I think that should be the lowest he falls. Penalty as well. Now he can sort of do as he pleases now in his final 3.5 laps. But Pope is there behind Grumio now. And a race for the win is on once again. Grumio defends now. He knows his race lead is at stake. And Pope looking for win number 2 of the season. And if he wins this race, that might be enough to catapult him into 3rd place in the Drivers' Championship. So keep an eye out for what happens here in these final 3 laps. A shootout to close off this season as they go through Brooklands. Williams versus Mercedes. Both cars with the same power unit in the back. Both cars looking here. Both of them in strong all day. They've been the 2 fastest cars on track throughout the entirety of these 50 laps. And Pope wants this race win. If Pope scores 25, he gains 10 on Che, which is enough. And he also gains 23 on Landlord. So the win, I can guarantee, is enough for him to do it. But he's got to get around Grumio. This is his task here, to come through and take 3rd place in the Drivers' Championship. Obviously, if Che finishes 2nd, that will mean Che finishes in 3rd. So it's all to play for here. We could see a 3-car scrap late on for this race victory. 3 laps to go, and Pope is still right behind Grumio, and Che trying to get involved too. Ben, this is going to be a scrap for the ages.
Yeah, this will be a scrap for the ages. Absolutely. The 1.1 now the gap between Pope and Che, but Grumio is defending for his life.
He's sliding there out of Stowe, and a move could be made here. Grumio's got plenty of battery to use as well, so that'll be the key thing. Now there's no more DRS in play. Pope doesn't have that run. DJ pulls into pit lane. He is out of the day. Both Alpines will not see the flag. In the end, HB Cook scoring 1 point as it stands. Not enough for those guys to take the place away in the constructors. The Pope goes for it on the inside. They make contact as they make their way out of Maggots. And Pope sliding in front, trying to take the lead as they go into Cops. It's side by side. Who's going to emerge in front? Last on the brakes is Pope, keeps the car steady, and is there currently now in the lead for the first time all day, outright in front. And Grumio and Che are now all together fighting for this race victory. Grumio tries the inside now. Oh, this is going to be very good. Contact, Grumio sends it in. Both cars get away with it away. Che is stuck behind Grumio, and Pope is going to try and pull away here in these closing laps. He's got the best tyres for these conditions, as does Che. If Che takes 2nd place, and that is it for Pope's ambitions for the Drivers' Championship P3. So Pope is now relying on Grumio to keep his old rival Che at bay, but Che trying the inside through turn 4. Very tight between the pair of them. Pope is pulling away. He's got 1.2 to the good. Che making that pass. Now Grumio is unbelievably falling away as well. That last stop has not paid off for him. Che looks to be in 2nd place, and that'll wrap things up with the constructors for Haas without a shadow of a doubt. And Che should still finish in 3rd place then in the Drivers' Championship, despite Pope being in the lead. But Pope is 2 laps away now from the win. It's still a race win for him. Let's not forget that. But we P4 for him in the Drivers, unless Grumio can get Che back. But I shouldn't think he will now. With those wet tyres finally coming into play for these guys at long last, Pope shows the way.
Pope has done fantastically so far. So has Che. All these drivers who have competed here tonight has raced to the absolute limit. Just a shame that Grumio's tyres have just fallen off right at the end. Otherwise, he would have definitely been up there. It's Conte Pizza for 10-second time penalty for the pit lane. That's a shame for Conte. But this race isn't over. It's 1.1.
Could Che still manage to catch Pope for this race win? Because Che still looked remarkably fast when he was taking on Grumio, but he's got to close in the next lap and a half to give himself next half a lap, let's face it, to give himself a few chances at this race win. What was a fight between Grumio and PJ 5 laps ago is now a battle between Pope and Che on inters for this race win, and the crowd at Silverstone about to get a grandstand finish here in the final lap and a half then of this Grand Prix. They go past the main stage, past the Ferris wheel, heading through Brooklands. Che is 8 tenths behind, and could still win the constructors for Haas and wrap it up with a race victory as well. It's going to be a very tense final lap here, Ben. Who you pulling for the race win here?
Pope.
You pulling for Pope, right? You can lock that one in?
No. It's such a tight one. I'm feeling Pope's going to edge this one though.
Okay, well, bets are locked in and all bets are off as we come through Abbey and begin the last lap of the season, and we're in for one last shootout. I've seen this before. Pope, Che fighting someone for the win on the last lap. The last time this happened for Che in this exact scenario in the final race of a reverse grid finale, the two leaders collided, took each other out, and Grumio still won the race. So let's keep an eye out. Let's not count our chickens just yet, my friend, Ben. As they go through Stowe for the last time, it's Pope in control. No DRS in play for this last lap. Che needs to gain this off his own accord here. But batteries in play for both cars, and Pope's got a steady lead. So Che's going to need a good run here through Beckett to Maggots. So they go towards Chapel for the last time. 10th of the penalty. No impact to her. It's P8 for her at the minute. She's pulled off a fantastic race and is beating Imre in these closing moments of the season. Pope is still holding on to that lead. Che right behind him. Grumio holding on to the third place in the end. It's been remarkable. He's been toppled at the very last this season. Pope through Stowe. He's 7 tenths in front. Che's need a good run here. He may have actually got it, to be fair. He's got a good exit and may close a little bit more on Pope, but I dare say then, Ben, you might have been right. Pope may have this one wrapped up.
Hopefully, yeah, but it's not over until that flag falls. As unfortunately, worst case scenario for me is my control bashes away, so let's hope they don't die.
I've got a few corners to hang on now, Ben. as we come through. Pope is still leading the way as they head down the Wellington Straight for the last time here. It's been a fantastic race for Pope, and he's going to cap it off with his second win of the season. Che is giving him a fantastic chase in these last few laps. As he's got a send left in him, I think this could be game, set, and match, and the end of the season. Through Village they come for the last time. Checker flag is up as Pope heads towards Abbey for the 52nd and final time in this reverse grid British Grand Prix, and he'll go down the history books as the only driver to date to win a Grand Prix in a reverse circuit. Pope takes the checker flag and wins the final race of the season. Che in second, Grumio home in third, Haas win the Constructors title. Grumio spins it over the line. He's the champion, obviously, in the driver's race. PJ had a remarkable charge, but in the end will finish across the line in P4, but both Dan and TJ in behind. It'll be 6th place for PJ, but what an effort to go 29 laps on the tyres as Dan finally kicks the car in. Haas are the Constructors champions. 10th will finish in P7 in the end. AT has fallen off massively. I think he's got a puncture. I'm not entirely sure. He has got a puncture. I think, yes, he's got a puncture. Yes, he does. AT is falling out the order here. 10th in P7. What an end to the season for her. Mercedes obviously beat Red Bull.
Oh, Cook shot. Cook shot into the barrier. Cook puncture.
Another one here late on. Number of cars now all calling it here. JB is chasing Imri on tyres that have gone just as far, but HP, as you said, went off into the barriers. It's all coming to a head here in the closing laps. JB passes Imri here in the closing laps, in the closing moments too, to cap off this race. AT is still there, spinning off the circuit. He's on the curb there. I mean, Courtney Goblin, if he's passed it out, you don't know what could happen. Oh, AT is going to get passed by both cars. They're potentially on the run towards the line. JB's going to make that pass. Will Imri go through as well? Imri gets through too. And AT then, in a remarkable
Imri's lost it. Imri's lost it.
Oh, Imri's already. Oh, no, he's holding it. He's holding it. Imri's holding it. Outscored the line. AT crosses the line. Dan's car is stricken. HP Cook is off at the loop. Oh, my God. He's been disqualified for going the wrong way. P12 then, or I guess for HP Cook. Wow. Pope wins. Everything falls apart. That is just...
Oh, my God.
That is just so RDL to have things end like that. That was absolutely spectacular. What an end to the Grand Prix. And that looked to be, Ben, a couple laps ago, that looked like just a Grumio victory. Standard, as we've seen all season, but very different there. Pope is the winner. What a race that was.
Oh, what a race. What a crack of a race. Can we do more reserves? More reverse races?
Can we do more reverse?
That was an absolute classic. Can we do more reverse? Screw driving.
Let's become the reverse driving. Let's become the reverse driving league, shall we?
Oh, fantastic. What a race.
That was spectacular. Pope wins it, then Che second, Grumio in third. There is your final results then. Pope takes it from Che, then Grumio, Dan fourth, TJ in P5, PJ 10th count into P7, Landlord 8th in his last start, JB 9th, gets points in the end, but not enough to obviously help Haas in the Constructors race. AT then grabs the last point just, having enough penalties there to keep him behind at the very end of the race. Ethan and Courtney finish a lap down each. DJ 5 laps down, classified in the end. Albar, Websy, Curtis, Ericsson, EJ. HP got disqualified at the end. We'll class him as P12. I don't have the words for what sort of just transpired there, Ben. That was remarkable. Absolutely remarkable. Oh my goodness.
2020 flashbacks. 2020 Grand Prix.
It was just that.
When all the titles came out.
Intensified, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Insanity. That is just like possibly one of the crazier ends to an RDL Grand Prix that I've seen, at least in my time. And I've been going at this for quite some time, if I'm being honest with you, Ben. It's been, I mean, this is my 8th full season completed of commentating in this league, and I tell you, I have never seen an ending as weird as that. That was
so weird.
That was incomprehensible, that end to that Grand Prix. But now we'll see if we can get a word in from anyone who just sort of ended that race in any state whatsoever. I'm gonna open the interviews up, but just give me your thoughts on that. What a finish that was.
I'm speechless. Honestly, from the end, it looked like we won it. Then for Grumio to get overtaken by both Pope and Che, Let's have a dramatic showdown and then having two punctures right at the end. And what do we get disqualified? What happened there?
Let's get our first glimpse as to what went down those last few laps. Pope is your winner for the second time this season. Pope, you had a feeling you were going to win this one, did you not?
Partly. For some reason, well, I said to you before we went live, I had a trick up my sleeve, and that was my setup. It worked. It worked. I don't know how. I don't know how. I don't know what happened, but yeah, I'll take the win.
I think any day that we end up beating Grumio and Shea has to be a good day at the office, regardless of finish position. But of course, a second win to cap off the season. Was that perhaps one of the madder victories you've had in your career?
Yeah, I mean, only using the soft and intermediate tyres the entire Grand Prix was a strategy. I don't know if it was a good one or a bad one. Clearly good, but I just can't describe what's happened, to be quite honest. It was a chaotic race, and it's always fun to win those ones.
Did you catch any of what happened behind you at the end of the Grand Prix there, in terms of just the entire field?
No, I was shaking, quite frankly, and sweating to try and pass Grumio and defend from Che, but it looked like a great race all around. Obviously, I know a few incidents have happened and stuff, but it's the end of the season. We all have to take it with a pinch of salt and, get ready for the next season.
I mean, yeah. I mean, in terms of next season, obviously looking forward. I think I dare say you put a bit of a marker down then to cap off the this season. Is there anything you want to think about for the next one?
I'll probably still finish P5 most races. I got lucky here, but with the new teammate system, I don't know if they've been announced yet, but that's a good sign for the team that I'll be partnering with, the teammate that I'll be partnering with next season. So yeah, let's if we can carry on that momentum, then what they do, brilliant.
I did want to ask, obviously the red flag, obviously a rare occasion in the RDL. How did that play into your strategy at all? Did it work out for you in the end?
Well, for me, I didn't know there was rain. I was very tunnel visioned, so yeah, I went on softs. I was like, I'll get a better start than everyone and go on the mediums, and then I heard about the rain, so it did work. Obviously, I think everything fell into my hands today. It's just one of those races where you get a bit lucky.
Fair enough. Any last words on the season for you?
Bring on next season, please. Thanks.
Do you know what? Fair
Ending
enough.
the season on a high.
Yeah, very much so.
No higher way to cap off an RDL campaign than with victory. Well, obviously, well done, Pope, on the win in the end. And if I'm seeing this correctly, I dare say we've got a rare appearance here from our drivers' champion. For the first time in several years, Grumio arrives to the comms box. Grumio, mate, we thought about 5 or 6 laps ago that win was yours. I mean, just towards the end there, that thing sort of fell away from you for the first time in quite a while. What happened back there?
I thought it was mine as well. Terrible. Tried to give Pope as much of a difficult time as possible, but it was just the inevitable, really. Too much rain.
I mean, obviously led the majority of the way, so it's not much to complain about in terms of pace. And obviously, you are the champion again. Let's not forget that. I'll take this opportunity to congratulate you on all the championships that I've never got to speak to you for. So that we'll keep that in mind. Is that the sort of thing you can go and defend that again next season? Do you think? I think that's the question in everyone's minds.
I hope so. Yeah, I hope so. Me and AT next season. So, yeah, we'll give it a go to get the constructors as well. Hopefully.
Trying to go for the double once again. Obviously, your long-time teammate Landlord had his last RDL race there, at least for the foreseeable future. Any words on sort of his career as a whole? With me, obviously, you guys have come to blows and fought each other a fair number of times over the last couple of seasons.
Yeah, thank God he's gone. Really, don't you think? I'm joking, Landlord. I know you can hear me.
That was beautiful. I couldn't have hoped for a better send-off.
He'll be missed. I've been trying to persuade him to stay, but I don't know. I don't think anyone can persuade him, unfortunately.
I mean, if his mindset is mindset, right? I mean, yeah, I think he'll be missed around the RDL community as a whole. One thing I will ask you again in terms of next season, obviously you've backed yourself to defend it again. I mean, this has been one of, if not your most dominant campaign, I think, in terms of a championship run. Is that the sort of thing? Can you repeat the level of dominance you did this season? Do you think, or is this like a one-time thing?
I don't think it will continue. I think, if I'm honest, the races have been close. It was just came down to like a last lap, who got the DRS or something. So, I don't think it will continue. I think Che and Daniel and Pope will certainly put more of a fight. And Emery, sorry, I nearly forgot him. Yeah, they've got a lot of pace.
Well, we'll see who's got the bottle to come and challenge you next season. Well, congratulations then, obviously, on the podium finish and on the championship as a whole. It's been a fantastic season from you, and we look forward to seeing you next campaign. We'll come over now to who else have I got in here? It's been a while since I've had this many people in for a race tour. Ben, who should go for next? You reckon? I've got a number of people in here.
Landlord.
Landlord.
With him retiring. Landlord.
Oh, wait, hang on. Yeah, I can't see the thing. Oh, sorry, I thought it was 18. My bad. Landlord, yes, hello, mate. Yeah, obviously, like I say, last Grand Prix for you. Was this one to go off on, do you think?
It turned out to be one, yes. One of the most fun 8th or 9th places I've had. Obviously, crying my eyes out right now for the end. Mostly for beating Alfie on the last lap was probably one of the highlights of my career. Yeah, very good.
Well, so obviously, you were sort of amongst the mid pack for the majority of the Grand Prix day. Was A team particularly enjoy fighting the most, or was there someone else in there?
Actually, I probably had the most fun fighting Imri. I don't know whether I actually need to apologise to him or not, but I don't think I did anything wrong. But just he came out on fresh inters after I had some kind of fairly used inters. I managed to overtake him with DRS on the exit, and then just holding him behind and side by side battling for a long time. It's good fun.
Fair enough. I mean, some of these fights are the more entertaining ones in the midfield. The rain obviously factored into the Grand Prix day. Was that much of a struggle for you?
Yes, because I spent most of it with wing or floor damage, but still.
That was the other thing. Yes. I mean, obviously the wing damage was that something that obviously that we could have done without over the course of the race? Was that avoidable? Do you think?
It's completely avoidable. Yes, it's completely my fault. Just went straight into the back of Cook, who I should have anticipated would be slow because he was on inters when the track was quite dry. But you know, I don't have to worry about making mistakes in future because it's the end now.
I mean,
Weight off the shoulders.
Unless you get a sort of qualifying ban to be served next time you ever start a race, you're sort of gents above. There's always a chance that you never know.
You do never know. This is the end, yeah.
Yeah, but I was to say, last race for you. In terms of Monday nights now, is there plans to do that spare time?
I can just do whatever I want, but I have a young daughter who to spend more time with rather than playing on PlayStation. That would be a priority.
Sounds good. It's good to know you've got a plan in your RDR retirement. You've had a fantastic career in this league, mate. I'll toast. I got my glass of water up in the air here. So well done on everything you've achieved in this league. Obviously, you're the first champion that I saw get crowned in this league all those years ago. So been a little while since then, but we'll hope to hear from you at some stage in the future.
Nice one. Well, I'll always have that stat over Grumio. We can never take that one away from me then. I like that. Thanks, mate. It's good. Thanks, everyone.
Piss off.
Ever the two fantastic rivals, Grumio and Nando, for the last couple of seasons of the RDL. We'll come now then to AT, who had things sort of slip away from him there in the closing laps. AT, that puncture, you made those inters last pretty much the entire second half of the Grand Prix. How much of a struggle was that?
It was actually all right until the end. They didn't seem that different. Their conditions obviously weren't great at all. So, but then last few laps they did fall apart, and then I did get the puncture. It was only on the last lap, but it did affect me slightly, I'd say. And it was nice to go wheel to wheel at the end though with Landlord before he leaves. You know, it was a good little clean battle there. So it's a shame we won't see more of them in the future. But no, it did.
Yeah, it was fantastic to watch. Me and Ben had a great time up here. Watching you guys duke it out over the course of the, over the race as a whole. It's a close fought Grand Prix again. Like I think you spent the majority of the race around those same sort of spots. Yeah, was Landor the driver you enjoyed fighting the most, or was there someone else in there? Do you think?
I actually didn't really fight him at all. He just crashed into me on the last lap. But before that, I did have a lot of good battles with a lot of people. But I also had so it wasn't a great race for me, but it was good fun nonetheless, and yeah, a good one to end the season.
Yeah, so I think this season we've seen a fair step up from you in terms of performance, especially on this game. Is that something we're going to try and continue on into next season?
I hope so. Yeah, I hope so. I think it's just playing it more, and over time, I'm just getting better and better. I'm not doing anything special. It's just practice.
And obviously, last thing I'll ask you, obviously teammates with Grumio for next season. As to what car in, obviously don't know as of yet. We'll find that in the team draw. Is that a challenge you're relishing for next campaign?
Yeah, it should be good. I'll do my best to carry him along, but we'll try and fight for the constructors and stuff. But it should be good fun and a lot better toes in qualifying than I get from Landlord currently. So,
Grumio, those sound like fighting words. Any comment?
No comment.
Oh, okay, right. Well, we'll settle that one on the racetrack next season. Obviously, AT, good job on getting that last point today to cap off the season with you guys at McLaren. And obviously, fair dues to you. You guys have been a fantastic pairing this season. You and Landlord. It's been great to watch you, and we'll look forward to seeing you at Grumio next season.
thank you.
We'll come now to Dan, who finished in 4th place today for Haas. Dan, you were a bit all over the shop today, mate. I mean, you've been up and down the order, and it's just sort of you've wound up in P4. So obviously, I'd say that's a job well done.
Yeah, not the best showing from me today. Spun out going into Cops lap 1 and just never was on the right tyre at the right time, unfortunately. Wasn't in the right mind at all. Making every choice I made seemed like the wrong decision. So yeah, definitely a lot to work on to go into next season before I try and maybe bring more of a fight to Grumio. He's walked away with it this season and can't be having that 2 seasons in a row.
I think it'd be unfair to say that you've had a poor season. Obviously, runner up in the championship for the first time. You and Che, at least for the minute, have won the constructors, short of any major penalties to be added on, which I shouldn't think there should be enough to deny you guys. So, constructors champion, Dan, for the first time I believe since season 12 of Landlord. So how does that feel?
Yeah, exactly. It means I didn't. I've not been carried to this one like I was last time either. So I actually pulled some of my weight. So yeah, I'll
You're
always.
a stunning teammate, mate. I won't have anyone say anything different.
I sneaked 100 points, I think, our season together. So it was very fun being with Landlord, and now I've won one with Che, and we're separating as well. So I've got Obsessed next season, and I look forward to trying to compete with him.
That'll be a good pairing to keep an eye out for. Do you think you can perhaps mount a stronger challenge against Grumio next time around?
I don't know. I think, Pope and Che, they're probably a lot more used to the game by this time than I am. I scored quite a good chunk of my points at the start of the season. I had pretty good consistency at the start of the season, I'd say, when I was putting some time into it, and now I don't put as much time, and I'm making mistakes like I was today, and focusing on other things as well. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. See sort of how the first 4 races go or something like that, and then I'll be able to give you a better answer.
I'll ask you one more quick question. In terms of having a reverse track next season as a finale, what do you think? Yes or no?
No.
I just saw you typing in the Discord after the race. I just thought I'd throw that in there. But so yeah, obviously fair dues, P4 in the end, a run-up overall in the season. So it's been a fantastic campaign for you. Hopefully, obviously we'll see you back here in a couple of weeks for the first race.
Yes, thank you, Zach.
No worries at all. We'll come now to HB Cook, who, like AT, also had a tyre go down in the closing moments of the race. But HB Cook found the barriers in the end. HB, what happened there, mate?
Let's put it into short terms. Puncture, severe floor damage, no rear wind, and front wind damage, don't mix. So I think that sums it up in about a cookie. So that we'll go with that. That's my excuse if anyone asks. not my fault.
All right, okay. Well, that is a fair way of summing it up. So in terms of that incident, we'll leave it at that. I mean, aside from that, solid. I mean, the pace. I mean, you're up in around the top 10 the majority of the day, if memory serves me right. Although I could obviously be wrong on that front. So there was a lot going on in that Grand Prix. I'll give it that. But I mean, in the end, 8th place in the Drivers' Championship, and obviously the race win in Vegas a couple of weeks ago. I haven't actually spoke to you about that, so congratulations on that. Would that be the highlight of the season, do you reckon, that race?
Yeah. I'll be honest. I walked away from Vegas thinking, well, I bottled that one, and then when Shrewsbury came out, I won it. I was like, well, actually, no, I didn't bottle that one. We'll take that one. Nice, obviously, get one over on Ben for the first time. Well, first time all the time, but it is what it is. But yeah, I would say that's the highlight of the season. To be in my debut season, it's a very tough grid. To say that you're a race winner in your debut season is, if I said that to myself at the start of the season, I'd be saying, you silly idiot, you're not having that. But now we did, so we look ahead to next season and get more wins, hopefully, if people bottle it. Grumio, I'm praying.
I mean, obviously, Imri as your teammate next season. I mean, to my mind, that's quite a strong pairing. So, is that a do you guys feel like you can contend for perhaps top 3 finish in the constructors? I think at minimum.
I hope so. Is the truth. When we discussed it earlier, we obviously said we've got to be confident. Everyone's going to be confident, obviously, to get a good result in the constructors, or else you won't be racing. You won't be battling for stuff like this. So yeah, we think we have the pace to even challenge for title next season. It's just, we all know racing, anything can happen. So it's just praying that we get luck on our side, get a car that's actually looks nice, hopefully in Aston, but not going to drive JB yet. And hopefully, then go and try and hopefully win it.
We'll see how that works out, but a very bold call from HP Cook there to cap off this season and go into season 20. We'll come now to 10th Cannon, who in the end comes home in P7.
Me.
It's been a fantastic drive, 10th. I mean, you've managed to pull that one into the points over a race distance. That was a fantastic job. Well done to you. How much of a task was that?
It was quite a task. It's kind of hard to put into words because a lot of it came down to luck, and also it was such a long race that I'm starting to forget parts of it. But it's the first time in a while that I feel like things have really gone right for me in a race, and I feel like it's the first time in a while that the things I do have had a positive impact on the race itself, and I feel like I've made the right choices for once rather than just sitting there worrying about what could go wrong. I had pace and I did things with it and I made the right calls, and I'm really happy with how things went.
I mean, obviously, you came into the season midway through, and you've managed to obviously get those points finishes on the board. That brings you up to, if you finish in 7th, that brings you up to 28 points for the season. Which would you be pleased with that as a return? Is that a good haul for the season?
It's probably less than I would have wanted at the start of the season, but having lived through the experience of being slow and having to reacclimatize to the new game and just get used to it, I don't think I could have asked for much more. I think it would have been pretty optimistic of me to like hope for like a really good finish in the standings, or to claw my way back from having missed all those races, because I missed a bunch of races and I haven't played this game as much as everyone else has. So to get what I did, I think is pretty. I'm pretty happy with it.
And of me, obviously, having this season to get yourself sort of reacclimatized to this game, is there a bit more ambition for next season, do you think?
I don't know, and I'm kind of worried about it, to be honest, because I've been on such a bad skid recently, and I don't know whether it was the lack of qualifying today that helped me or the fact that everyone else was struggling, but I don't know. Things just went better today, and I can only hope that I'm a contender for points next season. Yeah.
And any final words to cap this season off?
Oh. Well, I want to say I don't know if he's gonna watch this, but I want to say a thank you to Imri for everything he's done for me over the years, because this is not the first time we've been teammates in something. We were teammates in his league for a long time, and really, he's a really nice guy to be teammates with. I know he gets a bit of flack sometimes for his on-track decisions, but he's a really nice guy. He's helped me with a lot of things, and I'm kind of disappointed that he's not disappointed in him, but disappointed that he's moving on because I enjoyed being teammates with him. But at the same time, I'm looking forward to the future because I feel like there's less pressure put on me now. Now that I'm with JB, it's not so much trying to live up to Imri's level. It's just let's go into next season and see what happens. See if we score some points. Let's just have some fun with it. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Also, really sad about Landlord. It's a really shame.
Landlord will be missed indeed. And obviously, a lot of praise in there for Imri, as a few guys have tonight, which is always good to see. The respect and the camaraderie that goes around the paddock in the RDL. Well, good job on the points in the end 10th, and we'll see you back here. Hopefully, a bit stronger next season. We'll see what we can make of it. Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry, I was gonna say yeah. I think I feel like this is somewhat of a statement race today. I feel like I've made a statement with this. It's not. I feel like I'm breaking out of that poor performance slide a bit.
So Mark has been put down then for the next campaign. That's what we like to hear. So we'll leave for you for a minute, and we'll come now to last of all, as we always do to cap of these seasons, the one and only JB Racer 1. JB, end of another RDL season, another successful RDL season, might I add. I mean, any words for the campaign and for everyone as a whole to end this season off?
Yeah, there's lots to say. Hopefully I'll remember it. Yeah, really, first of all, great finale. Definitely one of the better reverse grid races. There were a lot of unknowns going into that, since I don't think anyone was really used to heading in the wrong direction. And yeah, for me it was first points on the wheel, so I'm on a personal level very happy with how that went. Yeah, the season really, lots of great drives. I know they're not in the chat anymore, but well done to Groomy, obviously, on his championship, because it was certainly one of the best ones, almost dominant ones in many seasons. And yeah, sad to see Landlord go. He's been, God, it's probably been something like 6 years that he's been in the league, so it's definitely sad to see him move on. But he has a lot going on. Lot to look forward to, shall we say, in his life, so totally understand that. And yeah, thank you, many thanks to you guys, to you, Zach, for the streams, and Ben as well, who's obviously made his co-coms debut, and I think you guys are gelling well together. I think I haven't actually spoken to Ben yet whether he's continuing next season, but presuming he is, looking forward to seeing you guys again in the comms box next season. Also to my stewards, PJ and Pope when he turns up. Those guys dedicate their Tuesdays every week, and yeah, it's not easy. Some instance we spend a good long while on, and sometimes we really struggle to come to a decision. So yeah, if anyone thinks we don't take it seriously, we absolutely do. And yeah, thank you again to those guys for all the hard work they do. Crikey. Yeah, next season, team draw, presumably. I haven't confirmed it with you guys, but presumably it will happen next Monday, in the week off, and there'll be pre-season testing immediately following that. So yeah, everyone will find out what cars they're in, and then if you want to turn up, it's optional. Most people normally do turn up, but yeah, we've got some new guys showing up, Rydog's new, some old faces coming back, and obviously, yeah, like I said, sad to see Landlord and EJ and Ben Lim all heading off, but yeah, thanks to those guys again for racing this season. And yeah, I think that just about wraps it up. I've probably forgotten something, but yeah, well done to everyone again. It's been a great season, and yeah, looking forward to season 20.
Season 20, the big 2-0 for the RDL. I'm looking forward to it as much as everyone else is. Ben, any final words from you before we sign off, mate?
No, other than thanks for having me for the last few races. I really appreciate it. Really enjoyed my time, and thanks to JP for allowing me to have this opportunity. And hopefully we can continue on next season.
It should be an exciting season indeed. Well, that will bring our coverage of the Races Driving League Season 19 to a close. Thank you all so much for watching along with this season. It's been a fantastic campaign to watch along and shout out on Monday nights. It's been an absolute blast. Thank you to, obviously, as JB said, to JB himself, obviously, for running the league to a very high standard, as he always has done. Thank you to the stewards who go out there Tuesday nights, as has been mentioned already, to keep making sure that everything in the league runs justly as well. Thank you to the drivers who obviously give their time every evening to race with each other. Thank you to Ben, who obviously come to us the last couple of rounds to cap off this season. It's been a fantastic experience having the new co-com in there. So Ben, much appreciated for obviously giving up your time off the racetrack to commentate with me. And that will more or less do it then. So obviously, as I say, Team Draw should be going ahead next week to the 24th of November. And likely the first race taking place on Monday, the 1st of December, JB. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Excellent. Right. So mark your calendars, everybody. That's the date, 1st of December, the first race of what promises to be an enthralling 20th season of the RDL. Thank you so much for watching this season. We will talk to you all very, very soon.